always doing something in this room.
Are we going in? Is that right?
Um,
Are you wearing long sleeves?
Close. So I just haven't taken it off yet.
Oh man.
I'm about.
Oh.
Can I turn on the monitor? The monitor's on here, Anthony. It says 2 fit 16, 15, 14. Oh, I guess the TV monitor behind me. I guess that's important.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
hold on.
And Anthony, we switched the sign. It's yellow now. Don't know if that'll make a difference. There's a bunch of different color options, but we don't have to mess with that today if you don't want. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Ooh. Who is Kinsey Fowler Quinn calling the series?
No.
Okay.
She's not. but
Okay.
Just great analyst.
Cool.
Okay, let's see. We're a minute and 15 out. It is hot in here.
Yep. It is.
$45 seconds. I feel like it's hotter today than it was yesterday. And I don't think that AC is helping at all.
No, I don't either. Maybe we need to turn it to face us.
That could help.
But those aren't fun.
This is
Today here on Big 12 Radio, exclusively on TuneIn on the audio side. You're watching us via the Big 12 Fast Channel, Big 12 Studios. Special thanks to Anthony Smith behind the camera. He is T-Chains, Taman Turner. I'm James Westling. Day 2 of Taman filling in for Ari, who will be rejoining us next week here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. Well, hard pass last night on the Women's College World Series. Texas Tech and Texas. Texas Tech runs out of pitchers by inning 3, and it was all Longhorns last night in Game 1 of the College World Series. So it's an uphill battle for Texas Tech. It has been done before, but it is a tough road ahead for the Red Raiders. We'll dive into that game here in just a moment. Also, later on this hour, Noah Fifita, the All-Big 12 quarterback from Arizona. You don't want to miss that interview. It's at 7:40 Central Time. Just an incredible kid. And listening to him speak about just their goals, the confidence that he has, the athletes that Arizona has put around him, makes me believe that Arizona is a Big 12 title contender. After a 9-4 campaign last year, they went 9-3 in the regular season, one of the surprise teams in the Big 12 after just 4 wins in 24. And Arizona is also the team that we focus on today for our Road to Arlington series. We'll be going through hidden strengths, key numbers, players they can't lose, trap games, biggest game on their schedule, and our buddy Justin Spears, the football beat writer for the Tucson Star, will be with us, also co-host of Spears and Ali on ESPN Tucson. And then Kenzie Fowler-Quinn, softball analyst for ESPN and Athletes Unlimited Softball League. She'll join us in the 9 a.m. hour Central Time. T-Chains, good morning. I meant to ask, did you fist bump your wife last night, and how did it go?
I did fist bump her.
What was her reaction?
She was like, "Why are you doing this?" And I said, "Because it's a thing. It's like we're a team." And she was like, "I know, but why are you fist bumping?"
She's like, "This is weird."
Yeah, she was thrown off.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to do with your partner in crime.
Yeah.
In that way.
Right.
I don't think a lot of women are walking around the streets fist bumping.
No. And she's probably thinking like, okay, you're my husband, and we've been married. It'll be 7 years in a few weeks. Why are you just now doing this?
Hug? Maybe.
Yeah.
Fist bump? Yes. Were you a big board game guy growing up?
I did, yeah. I played some board games. I played Monopoly. I played checkers. I really liked the Game of Life.
What's your Mount Rushmore of board games?
Ooh, I would go with Game of Life, Monopoly number 1, Game of Life number 2, chess number 3.
Chess?
Even though I'm not a smart guy, but it was fun.
Chess maxing.
Yeah.
That's a big flex.
I play chess. I guess I'm a chess guy.
You're mind maxing is
Yeah.
what you're doing. Okay.
And I like checkers. Checkers are fun. Yeah.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
Tic-tac-toe. Classic.
I agree.
Chutes and ladders. Classic.
Ooh, man, that's a good one.
So we picked up the Game of Life, played it last night with my daughter and my wife. Boy, has that game changed. Board games are not what they used to be. They've modernized the Game of Life. Like it used to be, do you want to be a teacher or do you want to be a mechanic? Now it's, do you want to be a content creator, a vlogger, or launch your own meme coin?
I think back, and I'm like the Game of Life, because obviously I haven't played it in a really long time, but I'm looking back on it, and I remember like being the police officer was like your best character, because I don't know, it was just the cop was where it was at. I think he had like his card had a little donut on it. You remember that? Like,
oh yeah,
yeah. It was like the thing.
You know, they haven't deviated from what makes the game so great, and that's those little tiny cars and those little tiny stick people that you put in the cars.
Yes, agreed.
I was runner-up. I felt pretty good about it, but nothing humbles you quicker than a 13-year-old having to explain the rules of a board game to you, the adult father.
Oof.
So that was rough. All right, of these careers, which one are you into? You ready?
I'm listening.
Professional influencer, AI prompt stylist, viral content curator, professional unboxer. Those are very popular right now on YouTube. You just unbox things. Or I'll give you one more. How about the subscription box designer?
No, I'm not that one. I'm the first one, the influencer.
Influencer.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. It's probably a terrible reason, but I like it. And this is what makes me an influencer. I believe that my thoughts matter. And other people should believe that my thoughts matter. So I feel like I'm influencing them because I feel like my voice has to be heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you.
I got locked out of my Twitter account. It's been a thing. I can't get on Twitter.
You have mentioned that a few times.
I've traded emails with them. They're not letting me back in. I probably created this account back in like 2008, 2009 when Twitter first came. It's probably a school project back in the day. So my email's probably tied to like my college email, james2@ksu.edu.
That was impressive, how fast you said that.
I
would have been
get in.
like T-turn, Hofstra.com. No, edu.
CatDaddy66 at Hotmail. No, I can't get in. It's a big problem.
And you've called tech support, emailed them?
There's no calling Twitter. There's no number to just call Twitter. You have to do an email thing. You have to submit a form.
You just made me think, because yesterday you asked me like what makes me old, and I legitimately hate waiting on hold, talking to a computer. And I just hate it. And I'd rather call somebody than text them or say, oh, press 2 and we'll call you back. No, like, talk to me right now.
So you don't do the press 2, we'll call you back?
No.
Would you rather, what would Taman do? WWTD. Would you rather be on the phone with customer service for, let's say, a half hour, or not have to pick up the phone, be able to do it from your phone or laptop with one of those chat bots, but let's say it takes 45 minutes, an extra 15.
No, I'll take the call.
You take the call?
Yeah, I'll take the call.
Oh, I'm team chat all day.
Yeah, I want to be nice, and I want to give the person a chance, because chances are it's a little call center guy, doesn't make a lot of money, so I want to be nice to them. But there's nothing worse than when you wait that long, and then they're rude to you.
Yeah.
That's the worst. If you're just be a nice person.
Well, I'm going to guess you're complaining about something.
Yeah.
Like customer service calls, when I'm on the phone with those guys, I shine. I am at my
You're
best.
the man.
I've never been nice.
You're the MVP.
That is my 10 out of 10. That is the kindest version of me you'll get. Because that would be you can always tell that they're at home. They're on a headset. They've got dogs barking in the background, birds chirping out the window. I'm like, man, your setup in my brain just doesn't sound luxurious. I'm going to be nice to you.
Yeah, I mean, being nice is something that we should all do in the world.
Well said. All right, Texas, the Longhorns weren't very nice to Texas Tech last night. Game 1 of the Women's College World Series. Texas Tech, their two best weapons from the circle, both came and went before the third inning. That was the game. That was the difference. It was the first championship rematch since UCLA beat Cal in back-to-back title games, but that was back in 03 and 04. This is the first time ever that it's happened in this best-of-3 format, which was implemented in 2005. But Texas Tech got on the board. Davis hits her 10th home run out of the park over the left center field fence off of Tegan Cavan. So Texas Tech is up 1-0. But then that was it. Texas answered immediately. Henry singles off a leadoff bunt. Stewart unloads on the next pitch. Her 31st home run of the year. And remember, she was the Longhorn that we highlighted yesterday, that it's like every time she comes up to bat, sit tight. Hold your breath. She blasted one in the first frame, and all of a sudden, Texas is up 2-1, and it didn't stop there. Kennedy enters the game. Caitlin Terry gets the start. Kennedy enters with 2 outs, runners on the corners. First time in her career that she's ever entered in relief. And Altmaier bangs the shot off the glove, an absolute laser of the first baseman. All of a sudden, a triple. Texas is up 5-1 after 1 inning. Texas Tech clawed back, got in it a little bit, like in the 5th, but it was Texas the rest of the way. It was a background game for us. Had it on in the background after that first inning. But Texas Tech head coach Jerry Glasgow, so Kennedy only lasted about 23 pitches. They actually went to a third pitcher, Lincoln. We'll touch on her in a moment. So Glasgow's taking a little bit of heat on how he handled the pitching rotation. Let's hear what he said about why he put Samantha Lincoln in the circle.
Thinking about tomorrow and the next day, we got 2 games, and I felt like I was going to give our offense the second and third inning to respond. And if we didn't get anything, I didn't feel like I could leave Naja out there and let them look at her. I want the matchup tomorrow, and I just thought I just felt like it wasn't a smart move for me to leave her out there in that moment. And it was a good opportunity to get Sam out there. She had good success against Texas last year in the final. She's worked really hard, and I've been wanting to get her some World Series experience all along, so I wanted to see what she'd do. And I thought she was outstanding tonight. There was one run there that I felt like we should have went from 6 to 4, and we went 6-3. She'd have been out of that inning. I thought she was outstanding.
That's Jerry Glasgow talking about sophomore hurler Samantha Lincoln. So Naja came back out in the second inning. She retired the side in order. 23 pitches across her appearance. She did not come back out in the third. Samantha Lincoln, who had some success last year against Texas in this spot, she gets out of that next inning without damage done. But Texas Tech is already down 5-1. So T-Chains, is that the right move to try and save Kennedy? Essentially, it feels like to me, Jerry Glasgow, he's waving the white flag after the second inning. Is that too early? You're down 5-1. Things are not going well. Terry's been roughed up. Kennedy's finding her stride, but you're down 4 runs. It's going to have to be the offense that gets you back in the game. So saving her for tonight, in which I'm sure she gets the start, is that the right play to essentially pull her, sit her after just 23 throws?
Well, yeah, I think so. Texas Tech's defense didn't play well yesterday either. I know there's no recorded errors, but they were struggling in dirt. I mean, they were. I mean, that's just a fact. But obviously, you're going to have a desperate Texas Tech team tonight. They have to win, obviously. So you want to be fresh. You don't want to. You're down 5-1. You don't want to tire out your arms, knowing that you have to win game two. So Jerry Glasgow made the move. He wants Nyjah to be set, wants her to be fresh, wants her to pitch her best game that she's ever pitched.
And that's what sucked so bad about last night is this game was over after the first inning.
Yeah.
Texas leads 5-1. It's essentially done. You start looking ahead to game two. And when you have two teams that have, number one, so much power throughout Texas's lineup, Texas also has an ace in the hole with their pitching staff. And with Texas Tech, it's almost like the depth wasn't quite enough in the circle. Having Terry, having Kennedy, rotating those two. It didn't matter last night. So I don't hate the move to look ahead to game two, get a fully healthy, completely 100% well-rested Nyjah out there who should be an absolute beast just to give your team a chance for game three. And now, how many innings do you keep Kennedy in the circle? I'm not pulling her at all. If she can go, I'm sticking with her all night long. I put Terry in the circle for game three and rotate the two and go back to that strategy.
I agree with that strategy 100%. And I also think that, Jerry Glasgow said that tomorrow night, or tonight, I should say now, that Tech's going to come back fighting. And, you just asked the question, was that the right strategy? Yeah, it's the right strategy because if you're going to come into a dogfight, you got to be fresh. And why, hurt yourselves? Why put yourselves in a disadvantage when you're down 5-1? Granted, it was after one inning, but Texas Tech is they haven't lost two games in a row all season, and they know that. So I think we're going to see a game three on Friday night.
This is they're backed into a corner for how many times has it been? You had it on your sports update. Elimination games that Texas Tech has faced.
They have faced elimination twice against Alabama and once against UCLA.
Okay.
So this will be the fourth time that they have faced elimination in this postseason.
Wow. All right, here's head coach Jerry Glasgow on why his team ultimately came up short in this game.
Tremendous crowd, tremendous environment. Very exciting to take the field tonight, and I was really hyped about the game. I thought we got off to a good start. Maya hit the home run and had us 1-0. I was excited, and then we just lost momentum completely. A bunt, I felt like we weren't ready for the bunt. We didn't anticipate it. Then you get Kelsey Stewart up, and she's having an unbelievable year, and she did what she's been doing all year. She's so clutch. Just a great hitter and having a great season. And then we just couldn't get out of the inning. It felt like we were out of position over and over on defense. We had plays we could have made, and I don't know exactly. I've got to watch it. You look at the scoreboard, it said no errors, but I thought we misplayed to several balls that we should have had outs on, or we weren't in the right position. And that inning got away from us, and we're down. All of a sudden, we go from up 1-0 to down 5-1, and we just couldn't get a momentum back. Kavan was on and really good, and I thought Mia give us a lift. Jazzy got a walk, and then Mia give us a home run and give us a chance there. But we'd already lost one. We'd let them have one more run. And bottom line, they just beat us tonight, and it was their night.
So Texas Tech leads 1-0. You're going into the bottom of the first. You're feeling good about yourself. The Longhorns, a masterclass in how to open a game with the Caden Henry bunt single and then Katie Stewart blasting that 2-run shot. That was off Caitlin Terry, who only lasted 2 1/3 batters in the first. And to me, it looked like Texas Tech was on their heels at that point and couldn't stop the bleeding. Like Glasgow said, they just couldn't get out of the inning. And essentially you're looking ahead from that point forward to game 2, which is tonight. Now, in terms of what Texas Tech is up against, and I'm going through Wikipedia to confirm all of this, but I could only count 3 times that since the Women's College World Series went to the best-of-3 format back in 2005, so there was no 2020 series. So we're talking about 2005 to 2025 and now 6. 20 series is our sample size. It's only happened 3 times. There's only been a team that loses game 1 to come back and win the next 2 to take the crown. It's only happened 3 times. The first time that they went to best-of-3 back in 2005, UCLA defeated Michigan in game 1, then Michigan took the next 2. 2007, now Big 12 foe, Arizona dropped the opening game of the series to Tennessee, bounced back 1, 2, and 3. And then most recently in 2021. So it's only happened, and we touched on this yesterday, Florida State beat Oklahoma back in 2021, 8-4 in game 1, and then Oklahoma just steamrolled them the rest of the way. So since 2007, it's only happened 1 time. Can Texas Tech do it?
Well, so the original one you said, so we have a 20-time sample size. It's only happened 3 times. 17 divided by 20 is 85. 85%, there's a disadvantage there that Texas Tech has. But with that said, I think this Texas Tech team is actually built for it. And they've shown that throughout this postseason. This is their 4th elimination. They're not. This is not something that a situation that they have not been in already this year. They've done it. This is their 4th time. So they realized yesterday they played bad. They did not. Caitlin Terry did not have her best outing, but this is a situation where they're going to be fresher tonight, and they're going to come. They have a comeback kid mentality. They've shown that. So can they beat the 4th team? I think they're absolutely built for it. Absolutely.
15%. That is the number. Those are the odds that Texas Tech is up against. 15% of the time, Game 1 losers have gone on to win the title. It's tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central on ESPN, Texas and Texas Tech, Game 2 of the Women's College World Series. Noah Fifita, the Arizona quarterback, here in about 20 minutes, but coming up next, this week in the Big 12, in case you missed it, in case we missed it, some of our favorite moments from the league throughout the conference. He's Taman, I'm James. This is Big 12 Radio.
Jackson's in trouble now. David Bailey, he is a sack machine. Third and 8.
Big 12 today here on Big 12 Radio, powered by Modelo. Heard exclusively on TuneIn. Alongside T-Chains, Taman Turner, I'm James Westling. We've got Anthony producing on the video side for Big 12 Studios. You can watch us there. Noah Fifita, the Arizona quarterback, here in about 15 minutes. Great timing for the Big E drop, by the way, from WWE.
I figured it would work for this segment.
We got our boys, the WWE, which it's made by the same people that make like NBA 2K. It's WWE's wrestling video game for PS5. They can't stop playing it.
I have to ask this because
I'm not going to lie, it's pretty sweet.
I have to ask this just because obviously my son's not at video game age yet. How great is it to play video game with your boys?
Life-changing. But then I say, why don't you boys step aside? I'll play the computer on Heisman. Learn how the pros do it, okay? Yeah, they're at the age, so the little guys who are 6, 7, and 7 years old, they're just kind of starting to figure it out. They're really just hitting buttons. Like if one of my boys is playing Madden or college football, he's just throwing to X every time. They haven't really learned that there's more buttons on the controllers.
Circle, triangle,
so WWE is just a lot of whiffed punches.
Boom, boom,
makes
boom,
for
boom,
great
boom.
commentary.
Sure.
But I play the announcer role.
Okay.
I'll do like play-by-play of their games, which gets
course.
them all hyped up, pretty excited. Great way to practice. All right, so it's a Three Things Thursday, T-Chains, and we hit on one thing, which was the College World Series of softball. Game 1, Texas takes it last night. So what are some of our other things this week in the Big 12 in case you missed it, in case we missed it? All right, can I have the lead on this one because I'm pretty excited.
Go ahead. It's all yours.
West Virginia just got a football commitment, and they burned the internet down doing it.
What's up, everybody? I'm here to announce that I'm committing to West Virginia. Go Mountaineers, baby!
Almost heaven, West Virginia.
So that's the audio of Ethan Lawson, a 3-star offensive lineman committing to West Virginia. He is 6'6", 310 pounds. And just to describe what we just watched, it's filmed in the woods, number 1. Number 2, Take Me Home Country Roads starts playing. He rips off his shirt, that's step 3, and then the camera slowly pans to a couch fully engulfed in flames. No better way to make your I'm committing to West Virginia announcement via Twitter. He's ranked as the 16th best player, by the way, in the state of Virginia. He benches like 475 and squats 600. He is a massive human being. He's headed to Morgantown.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that. That was pretty awesome. And I love with Country Road playing in the background, especially knowing what West Virginia baseball just did at their stadium singing Country Road. And now you're committing with Country Road in the background with a couch on fire. I love it.
Let's go. All right, Taman, what do you got?
Well, I have this, and this is actually crazy. So Jason Williams, father of Mia Williams, actually convinces a Texas fan to actually yell out "Wreck 'em" with the signal while doing it. You have to hear this. It's pretty great. Yeah, so Jason Williams goes up to a Texas fan. The Longhorns fan literally does like it was first. He was like this, doing both, and he was Jason Williams was like, "No, you gotta wreck him, you gotta wreck him," and then she yells out, "Wreck him!"
Yeah, they wanted a picture with him.
Yes.
They said, you can't just use my awesome celebrity status white chocolate fame for a pic if you're not going to do something for me.
Yeah, it's a two-way street here.
Wreck 'em.
Can't have one without the other. You gotta have both.
Here for it. All right. This is kind of juicy. This is from yesterday. Texas Tech football. Man, it feels like we are just talking about Texas Tech all day, every day. And we do try to cover all 16 teams, but Texas Tech has been in the news, in case you live under a rock. Texas Tech has been working on setting up a home-and-home football series for 2027 and 2028 against a premier non-conference opponent. They've had communication with teams such as USC, Notre Dame, sources tell CBS. Joey McGuire actually spoke about this at a local fundraising event. This time of year, it's like the Catbacker Tour for Kansas State. I can't remember the name that they had for the other school we were talking about, the Iowa State Tour, where Jimmy Rogers was saying that the fans were too nice. He expects to win right away. All these different programs are going on like their big fundraiser, booster tours throughout the course of the tailgate tour, I think is what they call it, for Iowa State. So the coaches are speaking in front of fans, alumni, in a private, closed setting, but people are still quoting and taking video. Joey McGuire talked about this at theirs yesterday in front of probably the Matador Club or somebody like that. But USC, Notre Dame, you got a hunch on who it might be and what could this mean for not just Texas Tech, but the entire Big 12. And that's the thing. Like teams like BYU scheduling Notre Dame, the Big 12 is ramping up with their non-conference scheduling. Arizona State's playing at Texas A&M this year in football. Baylor kept their word. They're going to play Auburn. Oklahoma State could have backed out of their Oregon series. They say, no, we're here for it. It'll be Eric Morris' home debut. We'll play Oregon. All of these other leagues, NC State's canceling series with Texas Tech. Mississippi State is canceling series. LSU's canceling series. Texas is canceling series. All these other conference power schools are canceling their previously agreed upon home and home, or even 2-for-1s, whatever it might be, with a neutral site thrown in. Because with the expansion of more league games, they don't want to play other power conference opponents. They need those cupcakes. Meanwhile, the Big 12 is stepping up. They're saying, we'll take on all challengers. BYU, Notre Dame. Now Texas Tech. Looking at a USC or a Notre Dame or somebody else.
Can I play conspiracy theorist here? I know you're a big conspiracy guy.
Who isn't? Wait till I show you the facts, Damon. You say conspiracy. I say hard facts. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Joey McGuire, at the end of last season, said that Notre Dame needs to be in a conference, right? Notre Dame is being mentioned in this non-conference opponent 2027-2028 cycle, okay? That's a couple years down the line. And I know we're talking about non-conference, but could it be possible that Notre Dame will be in the Big 12 or in another conference, and this becomes a thing where Texas Tech plays Notre Dame? Is this like the dots are slowly being connected? I could be wrong, but it just made me, when I saw this, it made me think Notre Dame, Joey McGuire said they should be in a conference. Maybe they're not in the Big 12, but maybe they play each other. I don't know.
T-Chains, that ain't a conspiracy theory. That's just a theory.
Theory.
And it has legs.
Legs.
So Notre Dame, they pissed off the ACC and vice versa. They're going to have to play somebody, somebodies, plural, whether they're in a league or not. Whether they're in the Big 12, whether they're still an independent, maybe they try and get in the Big, who knows. But they need teams on their football schedule. They can make all the money in the world playing Pitt and Navy and Army and Syracuse every year. But regardless, they need games. And if the ACC says, back off, bro, you can't have our teams, that's like 7 or 8 games a year that they lose. So Notre Dame, one way or another, they have to play somebody. So maybe this is angling towards a Big 12 Notre Dame scheduling alliance, which I cannot wait for, what is it, October 17th, BYU and Notre Dame?
Yes.
Not just the game. Like, the game to me is secondary. It is, for me, seeing a program like Notre Dame experience a place like Provo, Utah.
Yes. Yes. 100% agree.
Notre Dame's been playing games at USC. They've been, which, Dumpy Stadium. Cool market, Dumpy Stadium, pedigree, prestige, all that. Stadium still sucks. Then they've been playing games at Boston College, at Syracuse, in the Carrier Dome. Now they're going to go out to Provo, Utah, and truly experience a college football prime time environment that they've never seen before.
Yeah.
Maybe not never, but like this generation of Notre Dame, when you look at their schedule and they're playing Navy and Army in North Texas, like they haven't seen an environment like that.
Yeah, Provo, Utah, those fans are wild, and wild in a good way. They are going to make Notre Dame make sure that they hear them, and I'm all for it.
And the Notre Dame fans that get their hands on tickets, taking in that environment, it could be a monumental weekend for the Big 12. For Notre Dame to go out there and say, wow, this is way better than playing Boston College. This is way better than playing Syracuse. We don't see anything like this until the college football playoff, and we haven't been in it in 2 years. Last year, we didn't go anywhere. Here for this.
And then they cried about it.
They cried about it?
Yeah, they did.
So I love the thought. Provo, Utah, and then let's send them to Lubbock, Texas.
I'm down. Oh,
I'm taking that environment.
gosh. Yeah. I mean, if they have to go to Lubbock, that crowd with the all black and they're swinging back and forth, I mean, I don't think Notre Dame's going to be up for the job.
Right.
It's funny. I have to say this. Joey McGuire talked about Texas being scared, and there's some truth to that because obviously he called out Sark's bluff. Imagine Notre Dame walking into that. They will be scared. They will be scared.
And like Notre Dame has lived in a bubble. Like when I think about Notre Dame and I think about the road games that they play, like their home games, yeah, Notre Dame's an incredible environment. They've got the backdrop, they've got the stadium capacity, they've got the NBC deal, they've got all the things. But they played, their season opener last year was at Miami in an NFL stadium that wasn't completely full. Then they played at Arkansas. SEC shirt bottom feeder in that league. Their other road games were Boston College, Pitt at Pitt. Again, NFL stadium, half full. At Stanford, final regular season Saturday. Third full capacity, Stanford, bottom feeder in the ACC. Like Notre Dame is not experienced. True college football, small town America. It's the biggest thing in that city, like they're going to see in Provo, Utah, and Lubbock, Texas, if that does come to fruition.
Translation, they scared. No, seriously. I mean, you just brought up the stadiums that they played in, NFL stadiums, the Steelers, the Dolphins, half full. And now you're going to go to Provo, Utah. We just talked about if they were to go to Lubbock. And those stadiums are not going to be, quote-unquote, empty. They are going to be maxed out. There are going to be people waiting outside, especially the fact that they're Notre Dame. They are this school with this program that's been around forever, the legendary, the Fighting Irish, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, come take on the Red Raiders. Come take on the Cougars. Yeah, we play in Utah. Yeah, we play in Lubbock. But you know what? This is our school. This is our environment, and they're going to show up for it. I'm totally in for it.
Their true road games the previous season, at Purdue, at USC, that's it. They had neutral site games against Georgia Tech, Navy, and Army.
Yeah, so
those aren't Lubbock. Those aren't Provo.
Exactly.
All right, you got one more Big 12 moment before we get to Noah Fifita?
Yeah, I see this on there. Milan Momcilovic signing with Kentucky. Listen, you can probably explain this a little bit better than me because I know Milan was, his main goal was to go to the NBA, right? His main goal was to, he went to the combine, he worked out, he did his NBA workouts, but I know TJ knew he was leaving, but I have to ask why. I get the money, but you're at Iowa State, you're at a program where you're going to win. TJ's a great coach. I'm not convinced that this was what's best for him at Kentucky outside of money.
Oh, outside of money?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't bury the lead. It's all about money.
Yeah.
$6.5 million?
That's a lot of money.
Kansas paid Darren Peterson. BYU reportedly paid AJ DeBonsa $4 million.
That's insane.
He's making $6.5 million to play 1 year at Kentucky.
And he'll be drafted next year where? Will he make the lottery?
No, he won't make the lottery.
So that's my
because he's going to be too old.
Yeah, so. Why is Kentucky paying him this much money? And I get him leaving, but I don't know. Why was his value that high from a money standpoint?
Well, I call it the PJ Haggerty effect. So Kentucky has been sitting on a pile of money, but they haven't been getting their top targets in the portal. So now they're left with whatever's left over, $6.5 million, $7 million, $8 million, and they're throwing it at the number one prospect left on the market, which is Milan Momcilovic. They went after Tunde Yesufu. He goes to St. John's. Same situation. Same thing happened at Kansas State last year. Kansas State whiffed on player after player in the portal. They had $5 million sitting around, or $3 million, whatever it was. They said, PJ Haggerty's out there. He can score. Let's go give it to him. Same thing with Momcilovic.
Money, 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 money.
By the way, even if he goes picks 15 to 25 next year in the draft, he's going to make $3 or $4 million as a rookie. $6.5 million 1 year at Kentucky. All right, coming up next year on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio, Noah Fifita, the first-team All-Big 12 quarterback for the Arizona Wildcats, will join us on the program. Then it is the road to Arlington, highlighting Arizona today. We are powered by Modelo. You're watching us on Big 12 Studios, listening to us on TuneIn.
On 3rd and 12, backside heat, fumbled it, it came out. Ball's on the ground. Cougars recover at the 5. Big hit by Jack Kelly. 3rd and 16. Jordan over the middle again. It's caught by Alvarez, but he's going to be taken down at the 39. It's to the holder. Here's the kick. It's blocked. And BYU trying to run it back here. Jack Kelly, who just made the defensive play. Oh, he does this. Pressure coming from Kelly. Damp here, hit, and down he goes. Jack Kelly may have sealed it for BYU. Inside pressure on Hauser, and he's dropped. Jack Kelly, it was just a matter of time. This season getting worked on here. Backside pressure. Hauser feels it, will not get away. And that is number 2 for Jack Kelly. On the draw, dangerously close to being a safety. Micah Ford hit by who else? The ubiquitous, ever-present Jack Kelly. Salter flushed out, being spotted, dragged down at the 38-yard line by Jack Kelly.
Big 12 today here on Big 12 Radio, heard exclusively on TuneIn, watched on the Big 12 Fast channel, Big 12 Studios, powered by Modelo. Over 3,000 passing yards, 29 touchdowns for Arizona quarterback Noah Fifita, all Big 12 signal caller. And when I think of Noah Fifita, I think baller, number one. Number two, just a really incredible human, a really good guy. And Noah Fifita joins us here on Big 12 Radio. Noah, good morning. What's up?
Good morning, guys. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Man, so I just had your numbers, all your accolades. You could have gone anywhere in the country. NIL, transfer portal, all that stuff. You're back in Tucson, spearheading this offense. Ultimately, what led to you still being the quarterback at Arizona, partnered with your coach Brent Brennan in what will be year 3 for him?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of reasons. There's a couple of reasons, and I think the first reason is the people in the building, and it starts with Coach Brandon, it starts with Coach Deggy, being able to finish a job with them, being able to play in an offense for the second year, and kind of have that experience and have that just relationship I have with Coach Deggy is extremely rare. It's extremely special, and then the chance to finish a job that I came here to do, and that's win a Rose Bowl. Let's be the first team to ever do that. So we had that kind of mission and had that goal when I committed 5 years ago. And although it's a different head coach, that mission holds true, and we do believe that we have the people in the building to do so, and that's what we're working towards.
Noah, what is your favorite thing about Brent Brennan and Seth Dogie?
I think Coach Brandon, when it comes to him, I think his love and his ability to be himself, and he's such a humble guy. He's such a genuine guy. So I think his personality makes him who he is. I tell people all the time that you wouldn't know that he was a head coach, just the way he carries himself. He's extremely humble, and everybody that he comes across, he treats them with so much respect and so much love. So I think his genuineness is extremely admirable. And then when it comes to Coach Deggy, his scheme is second to none. But in terms of his mentality and in terms of his belief in himself and in his players, I think it's rare. His mentality makes you believe that you can do anything that you put your mind to. So when you have two leaders like that, you do believe that anything is possible. And they're definitely spearheading us. They're definitely leading us in the direction to do something that's never been done at this school.
Man, you've thrown for over 9,000 yards, 73 touchdowns. I want to pick up where you left off. What is that thing that they're leading you guys to accomplish that has never been done before? When you think about the Noah Fifita Arizona football during your time there, legacy, what is that thing? What are your goals?
Yeah, our goal, it all aligns. Our goals, my personal goals, our team goals, what Coach Brandon, Coach Deggy are preaching and leading us towards, it all aligns, and that's to be the first team in Arizona history to win an outright conference title in a Power Four conference. We believe that we could win a Big 12 championship, and that's what we're working towards. Is also to be the first team in Arizona history to ever go to a Rose Bowl, and to do so, you have to win your conference. You have to put yourself in the college football playoff conversation, and like I said, we do believe we could do it. We believe we have the personnel to do it on both sides of the ball. We have the head coach that could do it, and then also we have three coordinators that are extremely special, that have the scheme and the mentality to do it. You see Coach Danny Gonzalez and what he did defensively last year. Such a great coach. Coach Niver gets a lot of respect in the special teams world, and then as I've mentioned, Coach Deggy is second to none when it comes to scheme and mentality. So I think that's kind of what inspired me to come back. Is I want to be the first. I want to be part of the first team to do what's never been done, and I think when you look on paper, when it comes to scheme, it comes to personnel, and it comes to personalities, I think we have the ability to do so.
Noah, when you walk on a football field, when it's game day and you're getting ready, like what is your approach? How do you, see the other team? You're going up against them and saying, "This is what I'm going to do today, and I'm going to make it happen."
I think it goes to preparation, and that's something I take a lot of pride in. During the weekend, I think that's why me and Coach Deggy's relationship is as tight as it is. Is we're both film junkies, and we spend our whole week. We spend a lot of time in the facility. We spend a lot of time in the film room. We see the game the same way. So I think once you get on the field, it's just cutting it loose. You did the preparation, you did the work leading up to it, and now it's time to go have fun. So for us, you're trusting your preparation. You're trusting your upbringing and kind of what's gotten me here. What builds my mentality is my faith, and my family that's kind of instilled that in me. So I do believe I'm God's soldier. I do believe that I'm playing for Him, and it doesn't matter who's on the field. It doesn't matter who's in the stadium with me. I'm playing for my teammates. I'm playing for God. So for me, that's kind of how I let go of pressure. That's kind of how I'm able to go and play free. Is my preparation and my faith.
Talking with the All Big 12 quarterback, Noah Fifita, here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. You know, you mentioned your faith and your family kind of driving that faith. What impact does that have on your life overall, and then also as a college football player? And I love the fact that you're outspoken about it, that you don't shy away from it. A lot of guys do. And just I'd love to hear your perspective.
It's so big. My faith, really, my faith and my family are the two most important things in my life, and it's huge because it kind of directly correlates with football, but also it's just it's the most important thing in my life. It shapes who I am. It's what I strive to be. I try to be the person that God made me to be and my family raised me to be. So for me, it's everything, and that's why I can't shy away from it. It's because that's what's gotten me here. That's why you have to stay humble. That's why I have to stay humble, because I know that everything I have in this life, my talents, my abilities, this platform, it's all from God, and I know I can never be here by myself. So I give all glory to where it's due, and that's my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And for me, it also allows me to not pursue things of this world, but also to not be defined by things of this world, because I'm gonna be hated, and I think my height kind of gives me more of a reason for critics to come out. But I mean, everybody is criticized. Everybody is mocked for some way. So for me, when you have an audience of one, and when you're striving to glorify God, then what people say doesn't matter, and what people think doesn't matter. So then it allows you to play freer. It allows you to know that your identity isn't in a game, and it's in Jesus Christ.
Noah, I have to ask this because I read a report that shows that you have met Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, John Beck, Nick Foles. Obviously, Nick Foles went to Arizona. What did you learn from those quarterbacks, the guys who came before you?
Yeah, I think you learn so much about football, and these are guys that played at such a high level. I mean, the Mannings are two of the best to ever do it. Nick Foles is a Super Bowl MVP, so it's like these are guys that have done and consistently played at the level that you're trying to get to. So when you're with them, you just try to be a sponge and soak up information. And I think you learned a lot about mechanics, and you learned a lot about on the field stuff at the Manning camp, and things like that. But you also learn about personality, and you see a humility with them. You see the way that they prepare. Nick Foles is somebody that I look up to a lot, and his faith is extremely strong as well. So for those guys, you just continue learning. I mean, I know we play different styles of football because we are different statures, but at the end of the day, football is a football. Quarterback is a quarterback, and it comes down to preparation. It comes down to belief.
Yeah, Foles, he's a little bit taller, but I mean, you're way quicker, and you've got the numbers to back it up, man. Almost 4,000 yards last season as a passer. What would you say with Noah Fifita, the Arizona quarterback, in this NIL transfer portal, everything that college athletes that play power conference football are dealing with outside of just a game day Saturday? What's the biggest challenge or hardship that maybe people overlook or don't think is a big deal or even don't know anything about?
I think everybody says, I mean, and it is true. This is probably one of the best time to play college football because you're monetized, and because of NIL, you have these platforms. But with it, yes, there's a lot of pros, but with it, there's cons, and we're on a bigger stage, and there's more critics. And I mean, I think if you put people in some of these guys' shoes that have chosen to transfer and have chosen to go to a bigger program for more money, it's you can't blame them. I know a lot of people get criticized for it because people think that they're just taking a payday, but I mean, it is life changing money out there, and a lot of us grow up with the dream to take care of our parents, to take care of our families, and retire grandparents or parents. So it's like I don't know how you can blame a teenager or blame somebody in their early 20s for taking an opportunity that they've dreamt of their whole life. And then also we're on a platform where everything is on a global stage. Any mistake that you make is going to be on social media. Anything that you do, your name is going to be out there. So I think there is kind of a microscope on us to be perfect. But at the end of the day, that's what we signed up for.
Yeah, Noah, if I had life changing money in my early 20s, I would have probably bought a bar, maybe bought a couple of cars for my closest friends.
No doubt.
Like your coach said, man, he is so disciplined. He is so just in everything that he does. That's not you. But have you splurged on anything?
Yeah, I have a house. I bought a house. I got a car, so definitely I've splurged a little bit.
I mean, the house, that's an investment. Now, the car,
No
okay,
doubt.
that's a splurge. That's a splurge.
No doubt.
No, I have to ask this for some fun. So you've been at Arizona, for 4 years. You committed 5 years ago. I have never been to Tucson, Arizona. So my goal is to get out there. So if I'm going to Tucson, where are you taking me to eat? What's on the welcome wagon? What are we doing?
That's easy. I got a couple spots out here that I could take you to, but the first spot's a hibachi joint out here called Mr. On's. My guys Jose and Chris those are two of the chefs over there. So we usually go every Sunday. So if you come out, I'll take you there for sure.
I like it. I like it. I can dig it.
Noah, one last football question and then a family question for me. In terms of, like, your production 2 years ago was good, but it wasn't what it was last year. You had T-Mac 2 years ago. Last year, you've got new coaches on the offensive side of the ball, and you guys have this breakthrough year. Like, for you personally, what was the difference, in your opinion, between the 24 Arizona offense and 25?
Seth Beggy. I think he changed the whole perspective, and he changed the scheme. He changed the mentality of the offense, but he changed me in so many ways. He changed me as a quarterback. He helped me to play in a scheme and to kind of refine myself in terms of not overthinking, in terms of being a point guard and getting the ball to my guys. Not trying to do too much, not overthinking, just playing in the system, playing on time. And then he encouraged me to take control of the offense in my own way and to create when necessary. But he helped me as a person as well. He helped me become a better leader, and he brought the love of football back to me. So I owe so much to him, and I know he had opportunities. I'm sure he had opportunities to go other places, but he chose to stay. He chose to stay for me. He chose to stay for this team. So in the back of my head, I want to prove him right as well.
Were you losing a love for football at one point?
I wouldn't say I lost the love for it at any point because this has been this has been my first love. This has been the game that I played my entire life. I would say more so he brought back a confidence and he brought back a belief in myself that may have fluttered a little bit. So, like I said, that's my guy.
Well, I know your brother's on the team. I'm sure you've been asked about playing with him, but I want to ask about your parents. What do your parents mean to you?
Everything, and they're actually here right now because of my little brother's birthday yesterday. But they mean everything to me. They're the reason we do what we do. They're the when you're down in a game and you're trying to look for your why, or when you're in summer conditioning and it's 100 degrees and you're struggling and you're looking for a why. That's them. They formed us to who we are. They made the sacrifices that made what we're doing today possible.
Noah, my last one for you here is you talk about your family. You talk about how much you love them and how much respect that you have for them. Your family's listening right now. What's the number one thing that you could give back to your family that you feel best about?
A great question. I think their love is what, when it comes to family, you show love. Love is the most important thing for sure, but you show love through time and you show love through your actions. And their actions have displayed love in ways that we can never pay back. They're at every game. Even when I wasn't playing, they're at every game. Last year when I would play on Saturday and my little brother would play on Friday, they would go to Dasher's game and then they would drive or fly through the night to wherever we were and watch our game. So those I don't think you can ever repay that type of love, but the way I try to show it is through my actions. But then also, I want to take them everywhere that they could go. I want to take them to New York for a Heisman ceremony. I want to take my parents and my grandparents to Pasadena to go to the greatest venue that's ever been played. And God willing, I want to take them to Las Vegas for a national championship. So these are all things that the world might not say it's possible, but they do believe it's possible. We as a team believe it's possible, and the way I want to show my love for my family is to make all of their sacrifices and all of their investments to pay off in the long run.
Awesome, man. Noah Fifita, the All Big 12 quarterback, Arizona's commander-in-chief of that offense, joining us here on Big 12 Radio. Real quick, we've got Arizona coming up on our schedule to do our Road to Arlington series. One of the topics that we break down is a hidden strength for each Big 12 team. What would you say is Arizona's hidden strength?
I would say personnel. I don't think people understand the players that we have in our building. We have a lot of guys that are that fly under the radar, but that could play football. And then I would say our connection. I think that's our edge. We have a love for each other. We play for each other, and we have a belief in each other that is uncommon.
Noah, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you here in a couple of months at Big 12 Media Days.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Thanks, Noah.
Noah Fifita, the Arizona quarterback, over 3,000 yards last season for the Wildcats, and he laid it out very clear cut. They have one mission, one goal, that is to win a Big 12 championship, play in a postseason. They keep saying Rose Bowl. I don't know what the bowl tie-in would be with the college football playoff, but you win the Big 12 and you're playing in one of those games.
Yeah, I mean, just based on his answers, who would not want to play with Noah Fifita? I mean, he is I remember when you guys interviewed Coach Brennan, I mean, he talked about the maturity level that Noah Fifita has. I mean, that was incredible. He is a phenomenal young man.
Very well said. Noah Fifita, the Arizona quarterback, is our guest this hour on Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio. We'll digest some of the things he shared with us there during that interview and wrap up the program coming up next with the final whistle. This is Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio.
That's a sickle. Arizona getting exotic. It's lofted by Sorsby, and it's picked off. Dalton Johnson with the second takeaway for Arizona.
That was going to remain on the sideline today. That one looks laminated. Look out here. Howland flung for a huge loss. We know he can spin it, but so do Dalton Johnson and the Cats.
Tonight getting his first career carries. Ball is loose. A lucky bounce for Bachmeyer. Can he make the most of it? And that ball down the field is taken away for the second time tonight. Gotta be a good punt. Salgado Medina does get it away. And this will be touched by Kansas State.
And it goes right through his hands. And Johnson on the recovery. Johnny on the spot.
Lyman being able to swing it that well. Look at this second level blitz, and the Cats get hands on it again. Dalton Johnson part of that wave, back-to-back pass breakups.
Out of the shotgun, jailbreak pressure, it's picked off, and it will be a pick six for Dalton Johnson. Wow, they got him at the 5. That was great defensive work. Wow, I thought no way they're going to catch up. 3rd and 22. Couple guys drop out. Sorsby in trouble. Gets it away complete. And he's wrestled out of bounds. Manny Covey.
Hour number 2 of Big 12 today here on Big 12 Radio, powered by Modelo. You just heard our conversation with Arizona quarterback Noah Fifita that we taped yesterday. Raves about what will be second-year offensive coordinator Seth Doege, head coach Brent Brennan, Noah Fifita, first-team All-Big 12 signal caller last season. Here's what Coach Brent Brennan of the Wildcats said about the relationship between his quarterback, Fifita, and Seth Doege, the OC.
I think that's going to be great for him. I think that the consistency of just also like Seth's coaching style, and him and Noah have a fantastic relationship, right? There's a ton of trust built there. And I think that's one of the ways that you have a chance to really help a player like maximize his potential is by when there's a lot of real trust between the player and the coach. And so I think that part of it is going to be really, really good for him. And Noah's, first of all, he's just such a football junkie, and he's like, it's so important to him. And he's worked so hard and studied so much. And I think when you combine that with the great coaching he's getting from Seth and their relationship, I think you do have a chance for an outstanding season from him.
Brent Brennan on the relationship between Noah Fifita and what will be second-year OC Seth Doege, which brings us to the road to Arlington. Arizona is the team that we highlight here today. Biggest question marks, biggest gamble, trap game, biggest game, 3-game stretch to define the Arizona Wildcats football season. With that said, we kick it off with the biggest question marks for Arizona, who went 9-4 last year. Biggest question mark for me, T. Chains, is can this defense, which has been really good the last several seasons, even in their 4-8 year, the defense, especially the secondary, was elite. Will the defense hold up with 4 members of that elite secondary off to the NFL? They're essentially replacing every single starter in that 4-2-5 kind of hybrid defense from last season. 3 of the team's top 5 tacklers from 2025 are gone. Genesis Smith, Tre'Dan Stukes, Dalton Johnson, all off to the pros. Now, the good news is that defense was 21st in the country in scoring defense last year, only allowed 19 points per game. So the standard was really high. They don't have to be quite that good because I think the offense will be a little bit better than it was last year. But can the defense hold up is my biggest question mark.
So Ari has something similar, not exactly, but you guys are on the same page here. So his biggest question mark is the secondary. 3 NFL draft picks plus 2 starting corners are gone. So on that defense, but he specifically highlighted the secondary. Arizona finished 7th in college football in pass defense and first turnover margin in 2025. The Wildcats had more takeaways than touchdowns last year, 31 compared to 28. 31 takeaways compared to 28 touchdowns, and they led the Big 12 in interceptions at 22. That was 2nd overall nationally. So he brings up the issue, or what it made the secondary excel last year, but the questions that they have this year, can they repeat that? Is that what is Tre'Dan Stukes, Genesis Smith, Dalton Johnson? They were all great NFL draft picks, but can they replace those guys right away? Ari's not saying that Brennan and Gonzalez can't do it, but this is where they've got to prove that they can.
Yeah, that secondary's been dominant, and they've churned out NFL talent every year over the last 3 seasons. All right, biggest gamble for the Arizona Wildcats. This was a challenge for me because I don't see a ton of gambles, right? You're overhauling the secondary, but that's not necessarily a gamble. That just has to be done. You've got continuity now with the coaching staff. Brent Brennan's not really on the hot seat or anything. So the biggest gamble for me would be wide receiver Trey Spivey as the new number 1 wideout for Arizona. This is a guy that originally committed out of high school and played 1 season as a redshirt freshman at Kansas State. And the K-State coaches loved his upside. His first year at Arizona last season, he had 23 catches, so almost 2 a game, 381 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Arizona loses 3 of their top 6 wide receivers from last year's team, but Seth Doege has already pinned him as their number 1 target. Said he's an absolute freak. 6'3", 220, hard to tackle. He's been working really hard on mastering his route precision this offseason, this spring. So if he can kind of clean up some of those raw inconsistencies, he could have like a T-Mac type season in terms of his productivity because he's built the same way in terms of his catch radius, his straight line speed at 6'3", 220, like that's T-Mac 2.0. So that's probably my biggest gamble, is going from like a complimentary weapon who's 3 or 4 on the depth chart to wide receiver number 1.
So Ari has a little bit different, but similar to what you say, Arizona doesn't really have a gamble, but he believes that the gamble that he has to put is the offensive line. He said he's finding that the right side has some continuity. Tristan Bounds returns at right tackle. Bounds got hurt after starting 8 games in 2025. Alexander Deuce returns at right guard. But Arizona has to replace 3 starters on the offensive line. The left side is the biggest question. Matt Lotto started at right tackle with Bounds out in 25. Can he start on the left side? San Jose State transfer Nate Hale will most likely start at left tackle. How is that going to look? The Wildcats ranked 65th nationally, allowing 5.33 tackles for loss, 104th permitting 2.39 sacks per game in 2025. That sack rate is alarming for a 5'10 quarterback in his final senior season.
Yeah, really good point. All right, trap game for Arizona. Arizona has maybe the most difficult schedule in the league in terms of league games. Teams that are going to be on their Big 12 schedule. Like their non-conference games are Northern Arizona, Northern Illinois, and at Washington State. Should be a sweep, you would think. But once they get into Big 12 play, especially from Halloween weekend through the end of the year, their last 5 games are at Texas Tech, TCU at home, Utah at home, at Kansas State, and then Arizona State at home.
That's not easy.
Ridiculous. So the trap game for me is that one on Friday, November 6th, a home game against TCU, because it's right after Arizona goes to Lubbock to play Texas Tech on Halloween, and it's on a Friday. So you're fresh off a Texas Tech game, maybe the most physically imposing team in the league, and then 6 days later on a short week, you play TCU on a Friday night, 8:15 on Fox, at home. So that Friday game only adds to what is already a brutal stretch that we just outlined. And even if you survive that game, you turn around and play again after TCU at home against Utah with no byes, no off days, and then it's at Kansas State and Arizona State to wrap up the year. So TCU's maybe the most winnable of that stretch. It's at home, but it's the biggest trap game to me.
So Ari feels a lot differently. He says the biggest trap game is Iowa State at home on October 24th. And he says the reason for this is it's sandwiched between the road game at West Virginia on October 10th and the road game in Lubbock at Texas Tech on October 31st, Halloween. He said you could have Washington State on the road here, and the Iowa State game is coming off of a bye. So hard to put a trap game here, but it's a game before a very tough 3-game stretch, which it is before a tough 3-game stretch. The scheduling sandwich, Arizona attention and preparation energy is almost certainly gravitating toward what could come after Iowa State, Texas Tech on Halloween night in Lubbock.
Like that one too. I mean, really, with their schedule being so challenging, there's a lot of trap games.
Yeah.
Any game outside of like those big 4 could be trap games. All right, biggest game. This was tough because they have so many tough ones. Like they played BYU early in the year. They played BYU week 2 on Saturday, September 12th. It's one of those highlighted, already announced. It's going to be Fox, primetime, 3:30 Eastern games early in the season before they go back into non-conference play. So the biggest game for me, though, is the last one, which is Arizona State. The 100th, it'll be the 100th Territorial Cup, November 28th. Arizona won last year in Tempe, 23-7. Last year's matchup marked only the 5th time in history that both teams were in the top 25 going into that matchup. So the stakes for that game are trending up. Arizona State, who we just highlighted yesterday, I'm all in on the Sun Devils. I think they're going to be sneaky good. This is the oldest rivalry trophy game in college football because all these rivalries have been broken at some point. It's at home. It's the game that Arizona circled back in January. That's the biggest one for me, Arizona State.
So Ari thinks differently, but you brought up a point that he alludes to, and that's he thinks the biggest game's at BYU September 12th. And I actually agree with him because that game last year in the double overtime thriller that they had at Arizona Stadium was incredible, and I think Arizona might be out for a little bit of revenge. I'm just throwing that out there, despite the game being in Provo. But BYU and Arizona are becoming more of a conference rivalry. It's September 12th. As you mentioned, it's early in the season. This is the earliest conference road game for Arizona since 1998. With only one bye week available, the Wildcats had to meet BYU in week 2 or face 11 consecutive games to end the regular season. So he brings up the situation you brought up with Fox. It's a big game. And listen, BYU's the favorite for me. I'm just throwing this out there personally. BYU's going to be the favorite in that game. But I will not be surprised if Arizona gives them a run for money or even wins the game.
And if Arizona does win that game, they've arrived.
Yes.
Like, they will vault into the top 15 nationally, maybe even the top 10 if they get that win early on. Our biggest 3-game stretch, when you look at their schedule, I go with that Friday game that I highlighted, November 6th against TCU. It's at home. And then they follow it up the next Saturday at home against Utah. And then they play at Texas Tech, which actually kicks off this 3-game stretch. I should have started with that one on October 31st, Halloween. So at Texas Tech, TCU at home, which I had as my trap game, and then Utah at home. Because if you're going to be in the Big 12 championship game, you have to win both of those home games against TCU and Utah. And Utah, late in the year, they're going to be sneaky. Like, they're going to be much better than they are weeks 1, week 2, week 3 under Morgan Scalley. The defense is always legit, even if the offense is struggling at that point in time. So Utah is like no cakewalk for anybody on their schedule. So I go at Texas Tech and then TCU and Utah.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, the same. Ari feels the same way. October 31st at Texas Tech, November 7th versus TCU, November 14th versus Utah. He brings up that the Texas Tech game, no one thinks Arizona is actually going to win that game. It's Lubbock on Halloween night. That's going to be really tough. TCU, it's a primetime Friday night game on ESPN. TCU should be a top 25 team perhaps at that point. That'll be tough. And then Utah, as you mentioned. I mean, that's going to be, back and forth. Is Fifita having the type of year at that point that he's capable of? I think so, but it's kind of that simple. Those 3 games right back to back to back, that's going to be tough.
Mm-hmm. The road to Arlington, Arizona, the team that we focus on today here on Big 12 Radio, exclusively on TuneIn. Modelo fan rule number 31, the offseason. There is no offseason. The offseason means research, and that's what we do daily here on Big 12 today. Coming up next, the one player Arizona can't lose, their hidden strength, the number, the pressure point. What does success actually look like? He's Taman. I'm James. This is Big 12 Radio.
Downfield, and it's intercepted. Intercepted. Trade Stukes, first of all, made a great play to pick that one off.
Be successful. Pick up the blitz. Salter's in trouble. The game is really moving too fast for him right now. Stukes again comes through to get him on a loss of 2.
He's got time. His pass to the sideline is intercepted. Trayden Stukes with a purloined pigskin. Robertson has to check it down. And again, Arizona is there to crunch it. Trayden Stukes leads the defense. Johnson is hit, and he is dropped. Trayden Stukes was shot out of a cannon.
He's ready to pressure because his safety got him capped. And what's he do? Runs through the back and gets to Avery Johnson.
Sawyer Robertson looking for the lead. Intercepted instead. Trayden Stukes on his senior day.
Big 12 today here on Big 12 Radio. The Big 12 Power Hour is each and every weekday today, starting at 2 Eastern, 1 o'clock Central, right here on Big 12 Radio. You'll hear from Houston head football coach Willie Fritz, Arizona State's Kenny Dillingham, Baylor's Dave Aranda, and BYU's Kalani Sitake. Taman has built the Coach's Corner, which will be hour number 1 of our Big 12 Power Hour. This is hour number 2 of our live show, and we are highlighting Arizona, the road to Arlington. It's our series that we do each and every day this time of year. And for the Arizona Wildcats, who could be a better team than they were last year and end up with a lesser record because of just how difficult their schedule is. But the one player they can't lose, if they lose this guy, things could go really south in a hurry. For me, the player they cannot lose is an obvious one, their quarterback, Noah Fifita. Completed 64% of his passes, 3,200 yards, 29 touchdowns, only had 6 interceptions, all career highs last year. He is chasing the Arizona all-time passing yards record, currently held by... Pop quiz, give me a name, Taman. I'll give you a hint. Fifita brought him up yesterday during our interview.
Nick Foles?
Nick Foles. Well done. Year 2 of his offensive coordinator, Seth Dagey, being the guy spearheading that offense. Dagey said of Fifita, he's going to be the most decorated quarterback to ever come through the University of Arizona. So it's Fifita, the player they cannot lose.
Can you believe that Ari has somebody different?
Who?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I wanted
like,
to
no.
I wanted to throw you off a little bit. No, you're absolutely correct. It's Noah Fifita, the young man that you and I interviewed yesterday. Phenomenal player. He talked about the amount of games he's played, 34 consecutive games entering 2026. He has an Arizona school record, as mentioned, 73 touchdown passes. His 2025 PFF passing grade of 83.3 placed him 15th nationally. We know this dude's different. He's built different. Not just on the field, and as we saw yesterday off the field, the guy's phenomenal. They cannot lose Noah Fifita.
Hidden strength. Arizona has a lot of strengths, so it was somewhat challenging to find a hidden strength. I go with their wide receiver room, pairing that with their offensive coordinator, Seth Dagey, in year 2 of his system. In his first year as the OC, Arizona had the 3rd best scoring offense in the Big 12. They averaged 31.5 points per game, a massive leap from the previous season. And then I highlight the receivers, who are all returners, but weren't necessarily the guy the last 2 seasons. Trey Spivey, Chris Hunter, and Giovanni Richardson. Those will be the 3 starting receivers for Arizona. Now, those guys combined had 12 touchdowns, caught 12 of Fifita's 29 touchdown passes. They had over 1,000 yards as a unit. Dagey is super high on Trey Spivey. Says he's violent with the ball in the air. He's explosive. And then he said of Richardson, who's their little slot guy, he's mastered what we're trying to do in the slot position. The system's installed. Noah Fifita knows it cold, inside and out like the back of his hand. The receivers are just stepping into bigger roles that they've been building towards. So that's the hidden strength for me, the OC and the wide receivers.
So Ari is going a completely different route. His hidden strength is actually linebacker. He said, while it's well documented the losses of the secondary that we talked about earlier, Tay Brown is back at linebacker. In Arizona's 3-3-5 defense, linebackers are going to be counted on in a very big way. They're going to take on a big load, especially with a new secondary. He talks about how Brown was second on the team with 80 tackles last season, including 8.5 for a loss, 1.5 sacks, with 3 quarterback hurries, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble, and 1 pass breakup. He also brings up how Chase Kennedy's returning. He's also bringing up the Memphis transfer, Everett Rousseau Jr. I think I pronounced that right. Rousseau Jr., I apologize. And he talked about how he impressed during the summer. And Matai Togawai from USC, a freshman, he forced a fumble in limited action. So he's going with linebacker as the hidden strength.
I like it. They're always fast. They're always explosive at that position, just like they are in the secondary. Okay, the number for Arizona. For me, I highlighted Noah Fifita's touchdown to interception ratio, which was 29-6. 29 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. He only had 1 bad game. It was at Iowa State all season long. And it wasn't even really that bad of a game. It just kind of snowballed early. Iowa State jumped all over him. But you compare last year's touchdown to picks ratio to the previous season when Arizona went 4-8, even with Teteroa McMillan as his number 1 wideout, he had 18 touchdowns and he had 12 interceptions. Same quarterback, 1 year apart, completely different number. He went to the Manning Passing Academy, spent significant time with Seth Doege in the film room, and we saw a huge uptick in his production. Year 2 in Doege's system, that number could be even better. And if that number is even better, Arizona's playing in the Big 12 championship game in Arlington.
I like it. All right, Ari's number is 16. And he brings up the fact that Arizona was plus 16 in turnover margin last season, which was tops in FBS. He doesn't know if they're going to be that good again because they lost 3 guys to the NFL. But he said they did invest in the position and in the portal. But there's a reason they had 22 interceptions last season and with 3 NFL draft picks in the first 4 rounds.
Love it. They thrived on takeaways. Okay, let's go to, before we get to success, let's go to pressure point. I don't know that there's a ton of pressure on anybody because of how much this team exceeded expectations last year. But if I was to point to one thing, I would go with the head coach, Brent Brennan. Year 3. Because after last year's turnaround, he got a contract extension through 2030 at $4.7 million annually. It's about a $2 million pay raise for Brent Brennan. The deal also includes a $200,000 annual raise for every season that Arizona wins 8 or more games. So there's a lot at stake. But you don't get paid $4.7 million to go 8-4. And historically, Arizona has kind of backslid after their best seasons. Even dating back to like 1998 when they went 12-1, they went 6-6 with the same team the next year. Noah Fifita, after a 1-win campaign, they win 10, and then they win 4, and then they're back to 9. So it's been all over the map. Brent Brennan in year 3 is probably the pressure point.
Okay, so Ari feels a little differently, and when I saw this, I was a little shocked, but when I read his reasoning for it, I totally get it. And his pressure point is actually Noah Fifita.
I wondered, yeah.
Yeah, and he says he's built his entire career, the bond, everything with Tucson, the connection he's built. He stayed after Fish left. Brent Brennan arrived. He stayed. But he talks about this, and I think this is pretty interesting. He says, it all culminates here in 2026. The pressure for Fifita is to recognize the potential that he showed when he burst onto the scene with Jed Fish. And despite his size, can he get on NFL radars? If you're Carolina, for example, you've got a smaller quarterback, and if you got his buddy from growing up, can you get on your radar? So I get Ari's reasoning. I understand it's a little bit outside of what Noah Fifita is doing for Arizona, but looking at his future and NFL future, this is where you have to kind of make that known for NFL teams that you are an NFL caliber quarterback and that size won't be an issue. I actually agree with Ari on that.
Yeah, love that pick too. What will his Arizona legacy be? A lot of that hinges on what happens this year. Okay, what success looks like for Arizona. So I look at their schedule and I'm like, man, they've got to feel pretty good if they go 8-4. 9-3, major win. But I think the fans, and I look at this, what success looks like from a fan perspective, expectations, I go 10 wins and being in the Big 12 championship race. The over-under for Arizona's at like 8.5 or 9. They'd have to have some upsets to get to 10. Their final 5 games are Texas Tech, TCU, Utah, K-State, and Arizona State. But they have the most returning production, not in the league, but top 3, top 4 in the conference, top 50 nationally, and most of that production is at the most coveted position, quarterback. If these wide receivers that have been in the shadows but productive, if they can step forward, I really like what they've done in the tight end room, adding Cole Rusk, who's just a huge specimen at 6'7", built like an offensive lineman and had really good numbers at Illinois. 10 wins means you've gotten through that gauntlet. 10 wins is a very successful season. To me, that's success for Arizona.
So Ari is a small hair of a difference. 6 Big 12 wins. He thinks that's what success looks like with 9 overall wins. He brings out the fact that if you look at their first, they're looking for their first back-to-back bowl seasons since the Rich Rod era. Given the offensive continuity, you've got 5 home games plus 3 winnable non-conference games versus North Illinois and at Washington State. Given the secondary turnover, he says he wouldn't quite expect a Big 12 title, but if some things, take a twist or a turn, it could fall their way.
See, like that is, I agree with that more. like 8 or 9 wins is success to me because of that schedule, but I think Arizona fans are so tired of this slide after their best seasons. They go 10-3 and 23, they fall to 8-4. Even dating back to like the Rich Rod teams, they win 10 games in 2014. The next year they go 7-6. I brought up the 98 team that goes 12-1. The next year they go 6-6. 2 years later, their coach is out the door. He's fired after a 5-6 campaign. All right, why they will and why they won't win the Big 12. Why they will, they win all their home games and they shock somebody on the road. Maybe it's BYU, maybe it's Texas Tech. I think at Kansas State could have been a trap game late in the year. That gauntlet of a schedule, but for them to be in the picture, the offensive line has to hold up. Fifita has to match what he did last year. They need a wide receiver to emerge as the number one guy. They continue to have a respectable, doesn't have to be elite, but respectable ground game, and the offense continues to shine. And then defensively, the secondary, the overhaul there, the transfers work. They've got a lot of like former 4-star transfers out of high school coming in. Those guys continue that secondary pedigree, and they get to Arlington.
So Ari believes why they will win the Big 12, and I actually agree with a lot of this. He talks about the fact that Noah Fifita and Seth Dougie are back. That's huge. They had so much success year one, averaging 31.5 points per game in the Big 12, and that was ninth. They had the fifth most yards per game, 407.6. This is year two. He just earned first team All Big 12 honors. That should only deepen. He talks about the secondary turnover, as you mentioned. He said that could be a bit of a overhaul, of course, but he wouldn't expect them. He expects them to adapt in some way. On defense, he talks about the linebackers being a strength, and this is one thing I think is really huge. We talk about that hard schedule, right? But Cincinnati, Iowa State, TCU, Utah, and Arizona State are all being played in Tucson. So Arizona has to take advantage of their home schedule because of the fact that they have such a gauntlet throughout, especially in November. So he thinks that with the position, the coordinators being back, the transfer portal overhaul, playing at home, if they take advantage of all that and all the dominoes fall their way, that's how they will win the Big 12.
I almost think like the path for Arizona, when we look at why they will and why they won't, it's easier to highlight why they won't. That sticks out to me. Already brought up the turnover margin. They tied Indiana for the best turnover margin in the country, 1.38 on the plus side per game. They had 18 more takeaways than their opponents last season. Now, Indiana had 22, but they played 3 more games. So turnover regression is the number one thing that would stand out to me in terms of why they won't make it to Arlington. Noah Fifita, you have to keep him upright and healthy. If the offensive line doesn't gel and he's taking hits that he took 2 years ago, Arizona's going to be in a world of trouble. And then the third thing I would say is because of their schedule and that gauntlet that they have, those 5 toughies in a row where any of the 5 could be in the top 25 and maybe all of them, you're going to be in a bunch of close games. You have to close those out. And sometimes teams that win really close games are on the other side of that coin the next year. So they lose a bunch of close ones, and they end up around 500 is why they will not make it to Arlington.
So Ari believes the reason why they won't win the Big 12 is, he keeps bringing up the secondary. They lost 3 guys on their secondary to the NFL draft. That's understandable. I get, that's not easy to replace. I actually agree with him on that. He talks about the BYU game on week 2. Even though I personally believe that could be a revenge game for Arizona, being it so early in the season, that's still tough. If they lose that game early on, that's a game changer right there. While they do have to play all 5 home games, they need to kind of win those home games. Because of how tough that their schedule is. And he also brings up the offensive line being a real question, the continuity. He talks about right tackle Tristan Bounds recovering from surgery. He brings up Zach Henning transferring from Washington, and redshirt freshman Louis Akpa gaining experience. Noah Fifita is a senior. He needs protection. He's small. If he does not have that, Arizona might have some trouble.
Coming up next on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio, Justin Spears covers Arizona. He's our go-to for the Wildcats for the Tucson Star, also co-hosts a morning radio show on ESPN Tucson, Spears and Ali. Justin Spears is our guest after this timeout. This is Big 12 Radio.
Gilkey off the hands of Record and intercepted. Genesis Smith, the safety, inside the 15. Sorsby was. He throws. It's Cyrus Allen, and they rally to swing him down. Genesis Smith with great speed to the perimeter.
Nice catch. Up, it's on the ground, it's fumbled, picked up by Arizona, and going the other way inside the 5-yard line, Genesis Smith.
Back here on Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio, we welcome in Justin Spears, covers Arizona for the Tucson Star. Spears and Ali on ESPN Tucson, 7A to 9A. Pacific or Mountain this time of year, Justin?
Pacific time. So
Pacific
we are
time.
2 hours behind you guys.
Man,
right
you're up early with us. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, we just talked with Noah Fifita yesterday, and we replayed it because it was so good again today. He's just so mature. And just the way he talks about, we asked him what's like the hidden thing about this Arizona team that nobody maybe sees from the outside, and he brought up just the athleticism and the talent on this roster. From what you've seen, is it better than last year?
We'll find out, just because the guys that they had last year were just so talented. I mean, the fact that they had 4 defensive backs drafted, which ties an NFL draft record for one school, I think, that says the kind of talent that the Wildcats had in that defensive secondary. But, I think from top to bottom, this coaching staff, they've done a really good job of getting the kind of players that, one, fit their culture personality-wise, and they've got some really dynamic players. One recruiting tactic that I've always found interesting from Arizona is that they really encourage recruiting multi-sport athletes. So if you look at a lot of their wide receivers and a lot of their defensive backs, they come from a track background. And that kind of speed, if you can build on those bodies, I mean, those can turn into some really good football players. So I think, overall, the depth-wise, the athleticism-wise, it's certainly all there. The Wildcats have the pieces to have another successful season, but we just got to see it, because there's, a pretty good amount of turnover, but, there's still the nucleus of players that are coming back, guys like Noah Fifita. But, we'll see, a year into the system with Danny Gonzalez as the defensive coordinator, also Seth Dagey as the offensive coordinator, getting all the, coordinators back for another season is so big. So we'll see how good these Arizona Wildcats are. But, yeah, you know what? Noah Fifita said last year that it's the deepest receiving room he's ever had at Arizona, which says something because that's without Ted Terrell and McMillan. And if you look at all those wide receivers last year, he wasn't lying. Those guys ended up producing. So, while it could be hyperbolic for Noah Fifita to say those kind of things, he hasn't been lying since he's been saying those kind of things. So I believe in Noah, and I think that Arizona will have a really good team this year.
Justin, Traydon Stukes, Jennison Smith, Dalton Johnson, raw NFL draft picks. The Arizona secondary is going to look widely different this coming season. What's it going to look like, and what can we expect?
Yeah, when we're talking about 8 defensive backs that they added in the transfer portal this last cycle, so they've got a lot of newcomers in the defensive secondary, but they do feel really good about the returning players. Guys that got that experience in the Holiday Bowl. Guys like Gavin Hunter, who actually stepped in for Traydon Stukes and was really good the first 2 games of the season, but Traydon Stukes comes back, and that's an NFL draft pick. So I thought Gavin Hunter handled that situation with a lot of maturity. It's you're playing so well, and then all of a sudden you get demoted. And it's like, it's not because you're playing bad, it's just because this guy is a senior, he's a starter, and an NFL player. So I think Gavin Hunter coming back, whether it's at safety, whether it's at nickel, I think he's going to be a really good player for the Wildcats. I really like him in that strong safety spot. And then the players that they added in the transfer portal, I really like Malcolm Hartzog from Nebraska. He is not like Traydon Stukes, and I actually think he's going to start at that slot cornerback. And he's 5'8", much different than the 6'3" frame of Traydon Stukes. So you're going from really a long, lengthy guy in Traydon Stukes to more of a pit bull in Malcolm Hartzog. But so far, what we've seen out of him in the spring, I mean, the guy can certainly play. And then they're also returning Javion Cole at cornerback, who had 4 interceptions last season, which was one of the tops in the Big 12. So they've got some really good defensive backs coming, returning. They also added some guys in the transfer portal, guys that they're hopeful that could turn out to be good. And, if you look at the talent that this coaching staff has brought in over the last couple of years, they've had a high hit rate, and that's going from not just Power 4 level, but Group of 5 and also FCS. So there's going to be a lot of new faces in that defensive secondary. But Danny Gonzalez, Chip Viney, Brett Arcee, the defensive backs coaches, they feel really good about the collection of talent that they have there.
Yeah, I think I'm sold with all the guys that you just rattled off and their background. Who do you think has more pressure this season, Coach Brent Brennan or quarterback Noah Fifita? It is a brutal schedule.
Man, that's such a hard question to answer because, I feel like, Noah Fifita, he might have the most pressure on him right now just because it's his last year. And it's his last year at Arizona. He doesn't want to go out with the stinker of a season, right? And then on top of that, you want to double down that you're a good quarterback and Seth Daigie's a good offensive play caller. Because if you look at the offense in 2024, woof, that was just a really bad offense. Throw it in the trash can, never look at it ever again. And then they make some changes. In 2025, they bring in Seth Daigie. And Seth Daigie gets that offense and turns them from one of the worst scoring units into one of the top scoring units. They're averaging well over 30 points per game when they couldn't even do that in the 2024 season. The passing game went up a whole nother notch. Noah Fifita went from kind of a turnover-prone quarterback, a guy that led the Big 12 in interceptions. Now, you can make a case that some of those weren't his fault, but he still led the Big 12 in interceptions. And then he turns it around and has 29 touchdowns and 6 picks. And I think he only had 2 interceptions the second half of the season. So Noah did a really good job of taking care of the football. He also set records. He led Arizona to a 9-win season. And so I feel like him coming back as an all Big 12 quarterback, the first all Big 12 quarterback for Arizona in 50 years, I think he's got the pressure to come back for another season, double down on his greatness, and go out on a positive foot.
Justin, you and I were talking during the break about the big game that's happening on September 12th in Provo, Utah at BYU, Arizona, and BYU. We remember last season they had the double overtime thriller that BYU ended up winning. How can Arizona return the favor and leave Provo with a W?
Well, the opening game against NAU, I feel like it's going to be a very vanilla contest for the Wildcats. They're just going to keep it basic. And then week 2 against BYU, that's when you're going to see Danny Gonzalez, the defensive coordinator, be a mad scientist and throw a lot of crazy stuff at LJ Martin and Bear Bachmeier. I mean, the Wildcats, they were one fumble recovery away from winning that game. I mean, Aiden Garnes, if he had a longer fingernail, probably could have gotten that football, and Arizona wins that football game. But the game goes into double overtime, and the Wildcats lose in disappointing fashion. And so I think, week 2 in Provo, you're not going to show a lot in week 1 against NAU, and then you're coming in with, a chip on your shoulder trying to get revenge. I think, I think this is a game where Arizona can really sneak up on BYU and steal one. And BYU, they're considered one of the best teams in the league right now, right? And I think week 2, that is a golden opportunity for the Wildcats to win that game and really set the tone for the rest of the season.
All right, Justin, one more. I know you've got to get ready for your show. What's the number for Arizona this year when you look at their schedule?
Yeah, well, I think that the schedule certainly is in favor of the Wildcats having another really good year because you're playing BYU so early in the season. And then, Northern Illinois, I would chalk that up as a win for the Wildcats as well. And then at Washington State, the Cougars have gone through so much turnover over the last few years, as you guys know. And so Arizona on the road against Washington State, which was, a fun fact, the game that really started that winning streak in 2023 for Noah Fifita. So I like the Wildcats winning that game. And then, at home against Cincinnati, I think Arizona can have really a strong start to the season. But, if we're talking about trap games, how about their old pal, Rich Rodriguez, former Arizona head coach at West Virginia? The Mountaineers are hosting the Wildcats on October 10th. So to me, I know West Virginia, they were down in the dumps last year and they've got a lot of turnover. But to me, that is a trap game of all trap games. And I think Rich Rodriguez will have something special for the Wildcats. And I can't wait. Rich Rodriguez's offense versus Danny Gonzalez's defense. Sign me up, October 10th. So that game right there is going to be interesting. Iowa State's in rebuild mode. Arizona will take care of them at home. At Texas Tech, Brennan Sorsby, is he playing? Is he not? We'll find out. But on Halloween, that could be a spooky game for either team. And then at home against TCU and at home against Utah. I think Texas Tech, TCU, Utah, that is the toughest 3-game stretch for the Wildcats. And then they got to go on the road in Manhattan, Kansas in November. So it's going to be very, very cold. And then they return home and play against ASU for the 100th edition of the Territorial Cup. So I think, if I'm looking at this schedule, if I were to put an over-under on wins, I'll probably set it at 8.5. I think 8-4 is a pretty solid season for Arizona. Maybe even 9-3. But you know what? If you talk to these coaches, they feel really good about their chances getting into the college football playoff.
Yeah, the expectations have never been higher, and a lot of that stems from Arizona's been, like you said, very outspoken about their goals. Justin, appreciate your time. Great to see you. Great to hear from you. Enjoy your show, and we'll talk again soon. See you here at Media Days in about a month.
Yes, sir. See you guys in a month. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Justin.
Justin Spears covers Arizona for the Tucson Star, co-host of Spears and Ali, which sets to take the airwaves on ESPN Tucson here at the top of the hour. Coming up next, we dive into hour number 3 of the program. Let's get it on. That caps our Road to Arlington series for the Arizona Wildcats. We also, still to come, have Kinsey Fowler-Quinn, the softball analyst for ESPN, to go over what happened last night between Texas and Texas Tech. Texas Tech takes one on the chin. They get ready for Game 2. What does she see from the Red Raiders? This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio, exclusively on TuneIn and watched on Big 12 Studios.
Here's Martin on 2nd and 3, but he is met and tackled for a loss. Jacob Rodriguez making his first big moment.
Wigman to the air, and the pass is picked off by Rodriguez. And then he hurdles a Cougar and is still going. And finally brought down inside the 25-yard line.
Yelling at the line, finally the snap. Avery Johnson on a straight ball came out again. It's out again, and Pollock has it. Chase Brown.
This is how you respond to Heisman hype. Rodriguez, touchdown.
You definitely need Sam Jackson. Handoff here as that one is taken away. Going the other way. Make it the 4th play of the game. That's a game changer. Take it to the house. It's Jacob Rodriguez.
They set him in motion. Look out for that screen action. Underneath, intercepted by Rodriguez. Jacob Rodriguez, the big play.
Come back to haunt them because they've been blowing teams out. Nice play in the backfield again by Rodriguez, taking down Connors for a loss.
Back inside Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio. Our Big 12 Power Hour today starts at 2 Eastern, 1 o'clock Central with Willie Fritz, the head football coach at Houston, and then Kenny Dillingham from Arizona State, Dave Aranda, Baylor, and Kalani Sitake from BYU. You'll hear all of those guys, the coach's corner. And then the second part of this Power Hour, J.C. Hoyt, the women's coach at Oklahoma State, Bill Self, Kansas men's basketball, Molly Miller, the head coach at Arizona State on the women's side, and then Randy Bennett, the new men's basketball coach at Arizona State. He is building a unit, absolute unit, by the way, at Arizona State for men's basketball. T-Chains is in for Ari this week. Let's get it on, T-Chains. So you've got the topics, which means you've got the upper hand. We debate them.
Let's get it on!
I like debating. Remember I said yesterday that debating is like, people think I love to debate. Maybe I do, maybe I don't.
But you sense me, you strike me as somebody that feels they always have to be right.
No.
And you say that you don't, but it's vibes.
Vibes. Those vibes.
Vibes.
I give off those vibes.
Yep.
Well, maybe if you would agree with me, maybe you wouldn't have those vibes.
So that's the key to this segment, is just to agree. Now, one of us takes one side, and the other one takes the other. So you can go first on this first topic, and I'll take the other side.
Okay.
You can ease me in.
I can dig it. All right. Topic numero uno. Okay, there's a lot of things going on in Lawrence, Kansas. Your in-state rivalry as you as a K-State guy. But I have to ask this question. Kansas baseball's playing pretty good. And, they have a pretty good basketball program in Lawrence as well. And the crowd has been going nuts. They're usually always nuts at Allen Fieldhouse. The baseball team's getting a lot of love. So I have to ask, who has the more fun environment? Which program, Kansas baseball or Kansas basketball?
All right, the key word here is fun.
It is.
Not necessarily most fans in the building.
Yeah.
Not necessarily most challenging for the opponent. Who has the more fun environment? Again, you get to pick, so you tell me.
Oh, this is a very easy answer. It's Kansas baseball. Listen, I love Kansas basketball. One of the best programs. They're a blue blood. I get it. But here's the thing, James. I'm out with the old and in with the new. I'm an out with the old, in with the new kind of guy. And Kansas baseball, I don't know if you noticed, they've been dominating. They're actually pretty good. They're hosting a super regional. First time in years. First time, I should say, actually in history. But they are phenomenal. And the backing of the crowd that they've gotten. Allen Fieldhouse is cool. Yeah, that's nice. But this baseball program, the love that they're getting, yeah, it's Kansas baseball. This shouldn't even be a question.
Taman, you cannot say out with the old, in with the new with a straight face and wear a polo shirt that is clearly a decade old. The logo on the sleeve has been washed and dried so many times, it's splitting in real time. It's fading fast. I can't even tell what it is. What year did you get that polo?
I might have been a freshman or sophomore in college.
In college?
It was like 09 or 10 or something.
I knew it. That polo had 2 decades written all over it.
Yeah.
All right, so
now,
I guess.
What does that have to do with Kansas baseball and basketball?
Well, you're out with the old, in with the new. I guess I'll make the case with the old.
Go ahead.
The cathedral of college basketball. Allen Fieldhouse that holds the Guinness World Record for the loudest crowd war at any indoor sporting event ever. Exceeded 120 decibels.
Let's get it on!
Ranked the #1 college basketball environment by multiple outlets. Sports Illustrated said the history, the noise, the power of it makes it a must-visit for any fan. And they don't say any college basketball fan. They say any band. Rock, chalk, echoing throughout the arena. 16,000 strong, sold out every game.
Did that happen this season?
Yes! Every home game they do it.
They're home. Yes. Everybody knows they're great. Like, no one's denying it. But we're talking about their baseball program. Have you seen what they have done in Lawrence at their baseball stadium? Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it, Taman. It looks fun. I'll give you that.
It is fun. It
is
is the definition of fun.
You're
having a baseball team that hasn't hosted a super regional since when?
Ever.
It's more fun.
No environment in college sports like Allen Fieldhouse.
Unbelievable.
All right, what do we got next?
All right. Texas Tech, they're pretty good. And, I know they're in the middle of the Women's College World Series right now, and I know they lost yesterday, but I think they're going to win today. And their softball team's pretty good, but so was their football team. They were good last year. They're predicted to be the best team this year. So Texas Tech's been having a lot of fun. So let me ask you this question. Who is better at Texas Tech? Is it softball or football?
Ooh, that's a good one. All right, I get the lead on this one. Texas Tech just made back-to-back Women's College World Series title games. The football team just won the Big 12 outright and made the college football playoff. Texas Tech is officially, until they make it to a national championship in any other sport outside of softball, Texas Tech is a softball school. They made it last year under first-year head coach Jerry Glasgow, and to do it back-to-back, even if they don't win this series against Texas, they are in the national championship game. Can you imagine football or men's basketball making back-to-back daddies? And you still have Oklahoma, who made like $1 billion in a row. Texas has been back-to-back, the defending national champs. Also, look at their record. They went 59-8, 21-3 in Big 12 play. They had not allowed a run until the championship game of this year's Big 12 tournament the last 2 seasons. That would be the equivalent of Texas Tech shutting out every opponent on their schedule. So they're both good, but it's Texas Tech softball.
No, it isn't. It's not. Listen, I love Texas Tech softball. I will give them their credit. They're in the middle of a Women's College World Series. But Texas Tech football is on the map. They are the gauntlet of the Big 12.
Softball's not on the map.
Listen, I didn't say
they're not at all on the map, Taman.
Look, and he says he has to always be. I always have to be right. Sounds like this guy has to always be right. Let me look. Texas Tech football. Look, they won the Big 12 outright last season. They're going to win it outright this season. I don't care who their quarterback is. It doesn't matter. Listen, Brendan Sorsby, right? He comes here. He's having all these issues. He may or may not play. Let's say he doesn't play, right? You're having one of your best players not playing, and nothing changes. Who's still going to win the Big 12?
BYU.
He doesn't believe that. Listen, Texas Tech is going to win this. Joey McGuire, great coach. Will Hammond, who's going to be coming off of an injury, and is still going to help lead Texas Tech to win the Big 12 outright. They made the CFP last year. I know they didn't play well. I get it. Oregon played better, but this is a different team. Some have said that they're not as top heavy as they were last year because they had all those draft picks. But they lost all those draft picks, and they're still number one. I mean, it's like Texas Tech can lose and they still win.
Taman.
Listen, I love softball, but can they say that?
They just beat the number 1 team in the country back-to-back nights in Alabama. Mm-hmm. That would be like Texas Tech football beating Ohio State in the non-conference and then again in the college football playoff. Mm-hmm. It's not close.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's not close because Texas Tech softball, they're not better than Texas Tech football. I mean, Joey McGuire, the coach. They have Austin Romaine coming in, Trey White. I mean, these are guys who are really good. I don't know if you know
Elijah Kennedy would be
have you seen
winning
Texas,
the Heisman
have you seen
the
Texas
last 2
Tech's
seasons.
Run game this season?
Yeah, they're going to be good.
They're
going to be good.
Very good.
I mean, there's not a sport at Texas Tech outside of baseball right now that's not going to compete for a Big 12 championship in anything.
Yeah.
All right, what's our third topic?
Well, we're staying with Texas Tech.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know this. You probably do. But there's a lot of mix at Texas Tech. You know what that means?
Okay. MC?
Yeah, MC.
Like
Mick.
Last name?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. There's this guy named Joey Mick Guire, and there's this guy named Grant Mick Aslan.
I misread this. Go ahead.
Yeah. Who's the better Mick?
I read it as MC. I thought you just misspelled MC.
No.
MC.
No.
Which coach am I taking to rally a crowd?
Ooh, that's a good one, too.
Because Joey McGuire, there's all this footage of him talking to the Matador Club about this big opponent that they're apparently going to schedule for 27 and 28, like USC or Notre Dame's been rumored. I've seen Grant McCasland fire. I've seen Texas Tech shoot-arounds. Grant McCasland is a guy that, number one, just is whatever he's got going on energy-wise, inject that into my veins. I don't know how he does it. He's so calm at times, and then bam, he just flips a switch, and those guys are dialed in. Okay? So I would have to say, who's better? Oh, man. You go first. It's your turn.
Oh, you're right. It is my turn.
Yeah.
I'm totally going with Grant McCaslin.
Okay.
And listen, no disrespect. I like Joey McGuire. Spoke to him last week at Big 12 spring meetings. But you just made my point for me. When I was at the Big 12 basketball tournament in Kansas City, I saw a side of Grant McCaslin that I personally hadn't seen before. I saw him go up right to Christian Anderson, and he did this, and he was yelling or saying something. And I was like, here's this calm, cool, collect type of guy.
Oh, no.
But no, he was like, Christian, I don't know what he said, but it was like he was locking him in. He was like, I don't know what he was saying, but I was like, yeah, I want him. And I talked to Grant McCaslin last week at Big 12 spring meetings because I told him about Cruz Davis coming from Hofstra. I'm a Hofstra guy. And he was like, this guy is great. He's from Dallas. We love him, blah, blah, blah. I felt like he was starting to get in the zone and I was just asking him just a basic question about a Hofstra guy that now plays for Texas Tech. And you could just tell the excitement that he had. And I was like, if I were, a few years younger and on my A game, I'd sign with Grant McCaslin. I think I would.
A game basketball, right?
Yes.
My first Grant McCaslin interaction was when he was at North Texas. I was calling for ESPN. It was on the mothership. I was on the play-by-play for their game at Oklahoma State in the NIT. And there were all these Grant McCaslin to Texas Tech rumors already circulating. And by that point in time, pretty sure Grant had already signed the contract behind closed doors.
An official contract.
And I remember I went to North Texas shoot-around. And I asked that question. I said, how do you keep your guys dialed in? What do you love about North Texas? All this Texas Tech stuff, which some coaches, they'll be complete a-holes about that stuff. It's always kind of a dicey question that you never really, you kind of like get on your heels, like what are they going to say? Grant McCaslin was the nicest, most class act, answered it in full about all the things he loves about North Texas. Now, did he slip a little and talk about North Texas in the past tense? And that kind of told my brain, he gone. But I knew Texas Tech was getting an elite coach. And then North Texas won the game in double overtime and made the NIT semis. But for me to make the case for Joey McGuire, 70 years, Taman. 70. 7-0. 7 decades. That's how long it had been since Texas Tech had won a conference championship. Since 1955, they made their first college football playoff appearance in program history. They won 12 games. Now, you look at his overall record and, winning percentage-wise, they're comparable. But the number 2 transfer portal class in the country, in terms of net transfers coming in versus guys lost, only behind Indiana, according to On3's ratings system. And then just the cultural factor, Texas native, huge fan of Landman, recruiter that speaks the language, locker room culture, builder. Drawing comparisons to Mike Leach in terms of what he's done for the program. And the other thing, he's not afraid to speak both coaches are this way, but McGuire will answer anything you throw his way. Full transparency. They ask him about the schedule. He says, bam, guess what? We're talking to somebody big. For contractual, legal reasons, I can't tell you who it is, but it's going to be somebody big, and it's 27 and 28. He tells the fans that last night at their tailgate tour. And football drives everything else. We all know that. When the football team wins, every other athletic department, sport, coach, they exhale. So it's McGuire for me.
I think this goes like this. You're you're an athlete who can play 2 sports, okay? Basketball and football. And Joey McGuire and Grant McCaslin are saying, play for me.
You say yes.
You're like, yeah, of course. But you have to pick one of them.
I'm Julius Peppers. I'm playing both.
You can't.
No, I'm going to. I'm Tony Gonzalez. Call me Antonio Gates.
I'm picking Grant McCaslin.
Well, I just as a player, come on, Taman, we're both thin guys. Football? No way. I'd be out.
Yeah, that's why we're picking.
One hit, we're done.
That's why we're picking Grant McCaslin.
Basketball, that's where it's at.
Oh, man. All right, we're still staying in Texas Tech. We're staying in Lubbock.
Okay.
Last topic. Texas Tech, you mentioned it. They made the World Series last year. They made the World Series this year. Which team is better, 2025 or 2026?
Am I first on this one?
You are.
This year's team, 2026.
You were supposed to say last year's team.
They didn't have as good a record. They've lost game 1 of the Women's College World Series back-to-back seasons. But they're better than last year's team. Their bats are better. Mia Williams, the addition of her, Jasmine Burns, the catcher, and Nyjah has help. Now, Nyjah hasn't been quite as strong as she was last year. I think a lot of that has to do with her pedigree and just how many teams are keen on her and really studying what she does in the circle. But they've got Caitlin Terry. Like, this Texas Tech team would beat last year's team by 5 or 6 runs. Wouldn't even be close. But the problem is everybody else is better too, including Texas. That is a juggernaut. Must win tonight for the Red Raiders at 8 Eastern, 7 o'clock Central on ESPN.
So I'll make last year's case.
Okay.
I mean, I think you had made some good points, I guess. But, last year, just like this year, they made the Women's College World Series. They lost to the Longhorns. But last year, they led the nation with 672 total hits. They hit 37. They had a 37-run rule victory, and they ranked second overall with a team batting average of 377. They also hit 143 home runs. It's pretty good.
How many this year's team hit?
We're not talking about that.
Oh, okay.
And the award, they won a program record for NFCA All-Americans last year. Nigel Kennedy, Caitlin Terry, Jackie Liz, Mia Williams. I mean, look, last year's team was better. And their offense...
They had a better record. I'll give you that.
There you go.
That's about it.
Yeah, 54-14 overall. Okay.
This team is better.
Well, you might be right.
More talented, deeper, stats are better. The only thing that hasn't been better is the competition in the regular season.
You know who will be really good to answer this question?
Kenzie Fowler-Quinn, softball analyst for ESPN and Athletes Unlimited Softball League. She joins us coming up next. This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. We are brought to you, the full-time fan, by Modelo, exclusively on TuneIn.
Iola steps up, and he's sacked. Back in their own territory at the 47 by Golday. Fake it to Kingston and give it instead to Hagan. And he is dropped by Golday.
At home, Golday is right here off the edge. I want you to watch Corleone in the middle. He's the one that starts the disruption. Boom, swims through, makes everybody feel chaotic, and then Golday stays home where he's supposed to be.
Cincinnati.
Jake Golday's had a nice job off the edge. Dante Corleone pushing the pocket from the middle. Right there.
Back inside Big 12 today here on Big 12 Radio. This is the Big 12 Conference. This is a different league. We welcome in Kinsey Fowler-Quinn, softball analyst for ESPN AUSL as well. With T-Chain's Taman Turner, I'm James Westling. Kinsey, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
So last night's Game 1 of the Women's College World Series, much has been made about the pitching rotation and how Jerry Glasgow handled that with Caitlin Terry lasting less than 3 innings less than 1. And then Nyjah coming in, throwing 23 pitches, and then they go to Lincoln. Just what's your take on, was that Texas Tech kind of waving the white flag early on saying let's get to Game 2, or what do you think went through their minds?
I'm not sure. Choosing, when I saw the lineup coming in and we were watching the pregame show and they, say who's starting, I was really thrown. Caitlin Terry is a first-team All-American, one of the best pitchers in the country. But you have, the star on your team where I don't know if maybe it's like a lot about what's been happening lately, but you almost have to look at the big picture. This is Nyjah Kennedy, 4-time All-American, the star who you have built this whole roster around for this moment. You brought in Caitlin Terry to make sure that Nyjah was fresh for this moment, and she didn't get the start. And so for me, that is waving the white flag before the game even starts. Did not really understand that because you can always bring in Caitlin Terry, and Caitlin Terry has been so good in relief. And so if things don't go well right away with Nyjah, okay, little temp check, let's save her, we'll pull her. She can watch some film. She's one of the best. She'll rebound, be ready for tomorrow. Good thing we have Caitlin Terry ready to go. Maybe she can shut the door. Our team can hit, and we can be right back in this thing. And it was almost the exact opposite of what happened. And so the whole softball community was just really thrown when we did not see Nyjah take the circle. And then we saw her come in. It doesn't go great. It's so different. I cannot explain to people enough how different it is as a pitcher to be in the starter mindset versus an early reliever. And not just early reliever, but like first, second inning relief. So that's a tough spot to be in as a pitcher. And then, you burn her. She was not able to come back into the game. So to me, the management there was a little questionable. I just think 10 out of 10 times, Game 1, I'm going horse on horse. Like, this is star on star. And if I get beat, fine. But that's competing. And then we go back to it, we look at the film, and we go back to it the next day.
Kenzie, with Texas Tech now facing an elimination game for now the 4th time, really, you could say in this postseason, they were 2-0 against Alabama, 1-0 against UCLA. What's their mindset as they are facing another elimination game now, this time in the World Series?
I know they're kind of like the chaos creators, and they kind of create the chaos themselves, and then they thrive in it. So maybe this is a good place for them to be, backs against the wall. And it was kind of interesting, Maya Davis hits that first inning home run right off the bat. Texas Tech is up 1-0, top of the first. Sometimes when you get an early lead like that, it's just human nature for your body to go, okay, let's take a breath. Instead of, it should be like, no, we need to take pedal to the metal, keep going. And so I feel like that breath allowed Texas to go, we see your breath, and we're just going to go right down your throat. And here come our small ball, and then here comes our big home run. So I don't know, maybe Texas Tech needs to have a little extra something, and maybe that's that elimination, that's that we're down 1, backs against the wall type of thing, because it's kind of how they've gotten here, right? The regionals, the Florida Super, going through this elimination bracket. So, this is not a spot where they have not been before, even just this World Series.
That's a really good point. Talking with Kinsey Fowler-Quinn, softball analyst for ESPN, Arizona softball alum and Hall of Famer, joining us here on Big 12 today. I want to circle back to something you said at the onset about just the mental strain and the difference between when you're getting geared up to start a game versus entering in relief. What is that like mentally, and how are they different?
Well, starting, whether you're a pitcher that likes to know the night before or whether you're a pitcher that's like, just tell me an hour out. But you are going to have a very rhythmic warm-up where you have all of your points that you need to hit. You know exactly when you need to start throwing hard. Like, the clock is at a certain point when you're in that starter role. And you have, like, one focus, right? You're like, this is my game. I'm settled down. Let me get my heart rate down. Let me get to where I need to be. Coming off the bench, you're just always in the bullpen. You're looking down at your coach. You're looking at the scoreboard. You're looking down at your coach. So your mental is not at that low heart rate because you're just like, it's a little bit of a roller coaster. Am I in? Am I out? Am I in? When do you want me now? Do you want me later? Should I warm up? Should I rest? And it's not a great place to be. It's one of those things where a lot of coaches, and it's been a very offensive year this year, so we've seen a lot of pitching staffs pitch by committee. And so it's one of those things where it's like, okay, Caitlin, you are 1 through 4. Nyjah, you're 5 through 7. And okay, I'm going to trust my teammate. I need to be ready in the 5th. That's a very different type of relief. The relief of, hey, things aren't going well and it's in the first inning. I need you to get warm in 15 minutes. My heart rate's going to be very high. I didn't really expect this. I'm thrown. So mentally, you're not as locked in as you would be as a starter.
Kenzie, Texas Tech hasn't lost back-to-back games all season. With elimination tonight and it for really all the marbles, they have to win this game. Does that matter? Go while they're playing the game, knowing that they haven't lost back-to-back all season.
Yeah, I think so. I think you have that in your back pocket, and you feel that as a team. I'm sure they're talking about it, like, hey, this is where we're at our best. But you've worked your entire season for this point, and this is it. You're either going to be the national champion or you're not. And so it feels a little different. It's not just like it's a Big 12 series. It's not just like it's a, Friday game 1 of the regionals where it's double elimination. Like, getting eliminated in supers versus coming up short. And I can speak to this because I am a proud member of the runner-up club. I've played in this game and I came up short, our team against UCLA in 2010. So I can speak to this, and it's not a good feeling. It's when you're down in that 0-1 game, you have a long, long road in front of you because of who's in the other dugout. This is not just another team in your conference. This is the best team in the country for a reason. You had a rematch last year, so you have that weight on your shoulder as well. Like, can we get this done? They beat us last year. Like, this is not where we want to be. We've worked our whole season and built our roster for this moment. So there's a lot of pressure on Texas Tech. I think Texas has that first game out of the way that is so freeing, and it allows them to play with some things. I don't think we'll see Tegan Kavan. I think we'll see their number 2, Citlali Gutierrez, who looked very good a couple of days ago against Tennessee. And they have some things to play with. Texas Tech does not. Texas Tech has to come out of the gate perfect from pitch 1.
To your point about Texas Tech losing to Texas last season and now they're in this same situation just a year later, if you're Jerry Glasgow, how do you view this at this exact scenario? It's like it's deja vu all over again.
It really is. And, the difference was that Nyjah ran out of gas last year. And she competed her butt off last year against Texas, and they were right there. But she just ran out of gas. Did not have Caitlin Terry. Did not have Sam Lincoln, who's a year older and better and wiser. So to me, that is still goes back to kind of shaking my head why we didn't see Nyjah start game 1. Think about Nyjah, her last appearance against Alabama, threw a full game and looked amazing. I'm writing that. I'm saying let's double it back, run it back. Let's get my horse right back out there, keep her confidence high, and see how far we can go.
Kenzie Fowler-Quinn joining us here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. All the storylines surrounding this postseason with the Jason Williams stuff and Mia Williams, and you've got the pitching rotation between Terry and Kennedy, and just the fact that Oklahoma's not there, that Mississippi State pitcher who just pitched the game of a lifetime for Mississippi State. What do you make of just the stage that softball has in front of it and how they're doubling down on just how exciting this sport is, the fandom? It's got to be super exciting to see and watch.
Yeah, I love this time of year because it's so crazy for my brain to compute this, but there are still people that have not watched our sport and have not watched it at this level. So you're always having people tune in for the first time, and I always have to remind myself as a commentator in postseason, like you're yes, of course, you're talking and breaking the game down to your softball community, but you also have to break it down for people that are turning on ESPN for the first time going, what is the slap? This girl's pitching underhand. This field is small. This game is fast. Oh, this is exciting.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sat. And then as soon as we get people to watch a couple of innings of elite postseason softball, they're hooked. Our game, our product is very good. There's nothing like it out there, right? So, yes, it's in the baseball family. So I think that is what helps people draw in. Like, oh, okay, like I get it. We're running to first. There's 3 outs, not 9 innings, 7 innings. Like we can understand the basics of our sport, but there's so many nuanced things that are different, and it's just a really good product. And it's fun to see people become fans of the sport. And every single year, I mean, our trajectory, our ratings, we have not dipped in years. Every single year, it's like more ratings, more ratings, more ratings. This is the most watched World Series of all time. Last year was the most watched World Series of all time. So the math is mathing. People are tuning in. It's a good product. And, yeah, we've got a couple of games in this World Series with 2 million plus viewers. Like, the Stanley Cup isn't even doing that. So it's a good product. People are loving it, and I'm just so proud to be a part of the ESPN team because ESPN deserves so much credit with elevating our sport, putting money into showcasing our sport, and then it's just kind of like let the product be the product.
So, Kenzie, with all that said, with the numbers and seeing the growth of softball, does Texas Tech win tonight to force a Game 3 where we have a lot of people watching for all the marbles?
I think they do. I think we're going to see a Game 3 because of how good both of these teams are. And I don't think we'll see Kavan in the circle. And that's a huge lane for Texas Tech, to go, this is our game. We got to go. And I think Nyjah has to get the ball. She has to. And this is it for her. So I think she's going to have that, it's on me. This is what I came here for. This is what we've built this team for. I've got to go and I've got to perform. And I think she will because it's what she also did against Alabama not just 3 days ago, in that loser's bracket second game. So I think we're going to get a Game 3. I hope we're going to get a Game 3 selfishly. I'm not ready for this season to end. I know we have pro softball. Opening day is June 9th for the AUSL. But, man, it's always bittersweet. I'm like, yes, okay, let's crown a champion, but also it's the end of the road. So, selfishly, I would love a Game 3. But the way that the facts and the stats are and just kind of what I feel, I really do think Texas Tech takes it tonight.
And you said, Kinsey, June 9th for the AUSL. And how's that going in terms of growth, in terms of popularity, and just the stage and what could be ahead for that league?
Totally. So last year was the first year of the AUSL in its format where it wasn't really an all-star type of league. It was like, no, these are 4 teams with 4 names, and you're going to stay on the same team because the AU league had kind of done something new a couple of years prior where it was an all-star format and teams would change week to week, just trying to get some talent to get in this league. So this is year 2 in the regular season, and we went from 4 teams to 6 teams. The MLB is putting big money behind this league, which is something that we have been waiting for 4 years, and that's what makes it feel so legit, right? It's like the NBA really had to pour money into the W to get the W to where it is today, where it's reaching to be a profitable league. So we are in our infancy with AUSL. But our commissioner, Kim Ng, used to be, not the commissioner, but the general manager of the Marlins, longtime Dodgers employee. So she has been in the front office in MLB her entire career. And that has been the missing link that we have needed in our sport. Someone that could reach out to the MLB and say, hey, we have this product. It would benefit you. Because guess what? There are female fans for the MLB that would cross over to the AUSL. So the MLB said, hey, we know Kim. Yes, absolutely. Let's dive into this. Let's invest millions of dollars, and let's lift you up a little bit. And they have done that, and we're going to be on every Sunday from June 9th to July 19th, 20th. Every Sunday we're going to have the MLB primetime Sunday game showcasing AUSL. It's going to be on the MLB network. And then we'll have 50-plus games on ESPN or ESPN2 or ESPNU, which is the most of any women's professional league. The W has 40, and we have 51.
Wow.
So, like, we are getting out there. We're getting on TV. This is the most, the biggest, I guess, platform that we have had in women's softball, women's professional softball. So it is a very exciting time. If you're scrolling this summer, whether it's on CBS Sports Network, ESPN, or MLB Network, help us out. Leave your TV on. Get us some ratings, because that is how we stay. That is how a league stays. You have those ratings pull in, and then we're around for a long time. So it's a very exciting time. Reese Atwood, Leanne Good, and of course, Nyjah Kennedy. They will all be playing this summer with AUSL.
Oh, that is so awesome. We will leave the TVs on, and that is going to be huge. Very exciting. And thank you so much for your time and your insight. We appreciate you hopping on the program with us.
Anytime we can talk softball, I'm here. So thanks for having me.
Have a great day.
Thanks, Kenzie.
Kinsey Fowler-Quinn, the best Arizona softball alum, Hall of Famer, softball analyst for ESPN and the AUSL Professional Softball League. Already 50 games locked up with ESPN and ESPN2 this summer. That league is going to be incredible. Cannot wait to see Nyjah play professionally in prime time on ESPN. All right, we'll wrap up the program coming up next. He's Tame and I'm James, and this is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio.
Fifita.
One final time, Big 12 today here on Big 12 Radio. Arizona, the team we highlighted today for our Road to Arlington series. You won't want to miss the Big 12 Power Hour at 2 Eastern, 1 Central. Houston head coach Willie Fritz, Arizona State's Kenny Dillingham, Baylor's Dave Aranda, Kalani Sitake, the head coach at BYU. It is the Coach's Corner. Crunch time. Big 12 Power Hour at 2 Eastern, 1 o'clock Central. He's T-Chains, Taman Turner, filling in for Ari this week, who's on vacation. I'm James Westling with you here on Big 12 Radio. Texas Tech and Texas softball. Game 2 tonight at 8 Eastern, 7 o'clock Central on ESPN. Obviously a must-win for Texas Tech. But this is the game. I expect Nyjah to be in the zone, her flow state. And then Texas Tech, the bats weren't necessarily the problem last night. They actually had more home runs than Texas. Now, they weren't as consistent, but I expect Texas Tech to boat race Texas tonight.
Yeah,
if they do, that's going to reset the entire series. Now, historically, a team's only come back to win it down 1-0 3 times. 07, 09, and 2021. But it completely resets the deck if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think Texas Tech, I think they're going to be desperate, of course, tonight. That's just kind of natural. But at the same time, I'm looking at a team that hasn't lost back-to-back all year. They've been in this situation throughout the postseason. I don't think they're going to be rattled. I know Kenzie brought up that it's a little bit different, understandably, because it's for the Women's College World Series. It's for the championship. If you lose, your season is over. But they know that, and they've been in this. Some of the players on this team have been in this situation before. They were in it last year. They forced a Game 3. So even though the numbers of them winning are against them, but I think that we will have a Game 3.
I do too.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident.
Be stunned if we don't, and very angry tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I will too.
So last night we let off the show. We played a board game in my house, which I thoroughly enjoyed. It was very therapeutic. We did not watch the NBA Finals because we were locked in to Texas Tech and Texas. And I thought during this last commercial break, Taman wants to talk NBA Finals. I should probably know who won Game 1 of the series. But then I thought, just let me be me. So I'm raw dogging it here. I don't know who won last night. I could not tell you. I am locked out of Twitter, so I can't get on Twitter. It's very inconvenient. I have to do it the old-fashioned way and actually search all these different sports sites to get my information. Who won Game 1 of the NBA Finals?
The winner of the NBA Finals last night in Game 1 was the New York Knicks. They won Game 1 in San Antonio, stealing home court.
That's pretty big.
That's very big.
That's big, I'd say.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
How was Wemby?
He didn't have a good game. He did not. I think that New York tried to rattle him with Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson. I think Jalen Brunson did not have a good game until the fourth quarter, where he went nuts. He had 13 points in the fourth quarter. And I think the vast majority of those 13 points came with under 5 minutes to go.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he was Mr. Clutch last night. He was Mr. October, a.k.a. Mr. June. So I had to throw this out there because, I used to live in New York. I'm not, a stranger to the area. And there's a couple of my friends who are listening back in New York. I know they're listening. They have this notion that I hate the Knicks, and they think I've always hated the Knicks. And that couldn't be – I tell them all the time, it couldn't be any further from the truth. And the reason they think I hate the Knicks is because for, I don't know, the last 20 years, I haven't had a lot of good things to say about them. And the fact is, outside of the last couple of years, they weren't good. And so my response to them was, I'm not hating, or some friends might use the word disdain. I said, I'm telling you what you need to hear instead of what you want to hear. And I'm being honest with you. They were bad for a long time.
Yeah.
And apparently that's called hate because I'm talking about the Knicks, or disdain because I'm talking about the Knicks. And then they asked me, well, who do you think is going to win the finals? And I said, well, I want the Knicks. I'm a Mavs fan. The Mavs and Spurs are rivals. So I don't want the Spurs to win. I want the Knicks to win. But I told them I think the Spurs are the better team, and that's still considered hate.
Yeah, what was the line last night? That feels like a huge upset.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can Google it.
Well,
I'm not sure what the line was. These two teams are pretty interesting because the Knicks have won 12 in a row. They are red hot. The Spurs obviously just came off a long, grueling series with the Thunder. Excuse me. But the Spurs obviously have a generational talent in Victor Wembanyama. The Knicks are a deep team. They are a big team. The Spurs are big too. But we were at the Final Four, right? And we saw how Michigan dominated Arizona. Mm-hmm. We saw their size, right? And
height wins.
Yeah. And I'm a big believer that in basketball, ultimately when it comes down to, the final games, the final hours of a tournament, I think basketball goes back to its roots, size and height. And that's why I think the Spurs are going to win this series, because I think height, size, athletic ability will ultimately be the deciding factor. And I tell Knicks fans this, and they think I'm a hater. I don't get it.
Well, I mean, if you're a fan, you don't say the other team's going to win.
Fair.
I wouldn't qualify that as a hater. But the Knicks, I think, the Knicks were bad enough for a long enough period that now they're everybody's darling. The Patriots, when they made the Super Bowl this year, it didn't feel like people were quite ready for the Patriots to be back.
No.
Everybody still hated them.
They were bad for 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Some of us, I won't say who, haven't won in a long time.
Yeah.
I'm one of them.
I mean, Cowboys, I'm not even sure the Cowboys have been bad long enough.
James, how dare you?
For the narrative surrounding the Cowboys is, I think, outside of Dallas and Cowboys fans, everybody still hates the Cowboys.
That is true.
So I don't know that they've been bad long enough. The Knicks feel different because they haven't won anything since the 60s.
So I was talking to a buddy who I went to college with last night after the game, and he brought that up. He was like, the Knicks haven't won since I think it's 72 or 3 or something. In other words, 50 years.
That's a long time.
Very, very long time. And I was telling him, while I agree with you, that's a very long time, the Dallas Cowboys are the only team in the NFC that has not made an NFC championship game this century. And the haters definitely remind us of it all the time.
But the problem is that the Cowboys were so good in the 90s, and now this prime real estate window of millennials, people in their early 40s, late 30s, were just young enough to remember those 90s Cowboys teams and just how annoying they were. And so it's burnt into our brain that every year you're rooting for somebody to take them out. The Four Falls of Buffalo, I've never been a bigger Bills. Even today, I can't hate the Bills. I'm a lifelong born and raised in Kansas Chiefs fan, but I still today can't hate the Bills because I feel so bad about what happened against the Cowboys.
I will openly say, as a Cowboys fan, I can understand why people don't feel bad for us. I don't. But I would just ask with an open heart for fans such as yourself, James, or some of the other people who aren't fond of the Cowboys, please feel for us millennials and Gen Zs, because we didn't get to experience any of that.
Yeah, that's fair.
And all we have really known is heartbreak.
That's fair. And I would say the younger generation, there's not as many Cowboys fans because you guys aren't connected to those teams of the 90s. And so, again, I'd say the cutoff's 35 to 40-year-olds, somewhere in that window for the pure Cowboys hate. But I'm all in on the NBA Finals now that I know that. I thought the Spurs would just sweep the floor. They'd take it in 4 games. I thought, we don't even need to turn this on. Let's watch the Women's College World Series.
Yeah, I mean, Texas Tech is really good, and I think they're going to win tonight. And Nyjah has to go out as a champion. She deserves that.
Tonight's the night.
The night.
Has to happen. We talk about Noah Fifita and his legacy tonight and tomorrow. Nyjah Kennedy's legacy will be decided in the circle. Texas Tech and Texas at 8 Eastern, 7 o'clock Central tonight on ESPN. It's going to put a wrap on this edition of our program. We are back tomorrow, 8A to 11A Eastern, 7 to 10 Central Time. For Anthony Smith behind the camera, crushing it as always for Big 12 Studios. For T-Chains, who's wearing 18 hats today as producer, co-host, everything else, email generator. I'm James Westling. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Don't miss the Big 12 Power Hour. It starts at 2 Eastern, 1 o'clock with a bunch of Big 12 football coaches. That's later today. But for now, we're out.
Peace.